life be like if we couldn't dream? In a universe with an abundance of possibilities, what's holding you back? Sometimes I don't want to wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review.
A positive review.
get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch and diggy, Charles shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener.
A birthday beatdown is commenced.
It's about to commence.
It's about to commence.
It's about to occur.
All right, you guys. This is DJ Ben's birthday. Happy birthday.
Gang shit, let's go.
We have let's hear what he has to say to us. Dear, I'm just kidding. In the words of Smeagol, because it's my birthday and I wants it. This is the I wish I could do the voice, but I don't think I can.
Is that what Smeagol said? It's my birthday and I want it?
Well, no, he wants the ring, so and I wants it. Like, whenever he wants something, he's like... That is the reason for the stream tonight, says DJ Ben. It's not a birthday bash. It's not a birthday ball. It's Ben's birthday beatdown again.
Ben's birthday beatdown. That is what they call alliteration, dear listener.
Song number 1 is by a band called Death Angel. The song itself is called Sonic Beatdown. Probably a good start for a song for a night that's called a birthday beatdown.
So the name of the first song is Sonic Beatdown. What's the name of the band?
Sonic Beatdown. Death Angel.
Death Angel. Sonic Beatdown is song numero uno.
The video description still says... Oh, here. We already got that. Okay.
We already got that taken care of.
Yep. We are on top of it.
Holy shit. That is what Smeagol said just before murdering his good friend Daigle for the ring.
I hated that scene. I actually have never actually fully watched it because to me it looked so realistic.
Wasn't that at the beginning of part 3?
Yeah, I don't know. I just know he chokes
so
him out.
you missed the rest of the movie?
No. I watched the rest of the movie, but I turned away. I never saw that scene fully. It was so disturbing to me. Like, I felt like the acting was really good. Not that I've ever seen somebody getting choked to death, but I assume. And like it was just so dark. Anyway.
Yeah, it was pretty dark.
It was very dark. Because it was his friend.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it was sad. Anyway, we're not going to talk about sad things. We're going to talk about birthday things and beatdowns. Wait.
And timestamps.
Yeah, I already have a timestamp because this is the first song. So it's 0000. Let's start.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Song numero uno. Death Angel Sonic Beatdown. Let's go, y'all. Happy freaking birthday, Ben. Let's do this shit.
Okay.
Come with us, gonna make you feel alive. When the lights go down, feel the fire burn inside. She had a rough year, let's leave it in the dust. Tonight, gonna shine tonight, here with us. Don't ever let them make you feel small. Don't ever let them make you wanna cry.
heavy in this bitch. Let's go! Let's go, Ben! Got BC here. The gang's all here. Let's go.
Yeah!
I'm gonna steal that. Sounds like a relationship song.
A Sonic Beatdown. Well,
it sounds like a relationship
yeah,
song.
probably. Okay, first of all, this part, if this is done live, this must be really fun, like to be in like a mosh pit situation,
100%.
especially this part. Ladies and gentlemen, we need you to clear the area. Ladies and gentlemen, we need you to clear the area. This is an unlawful gathering.
Unlawful gathering? Is that what it says?
Yeah, this is an unlawful gathering. That's so crazy to think that there are like some places where even here in America, they tried to do it to us during COVID. You couldn't be gathering with more than X amount of people.
What do you mean they tried? They did.
It was successful?
Yeah, like you literally, like legit, like you couldn't do it. Like folks were literally getting jammed up, and that's why they did that whole thing in Michigan.
It's just
where they squared up with the governor because she had them on curfew while she was out there on a
she was going all around to the barber. Wait, was she the one that was going to the barber shop?
Yeah, she's going to barber, like her and AOC. You know, the whole.
She's like, let me book my appointment. All you plebes, stay home.
Yeah, and then them dudes showed up at her place. I was like, holy shit. And Trump was like, you better let them play. He's like, you got to make a deal with them. And so I was like, holy hell. Okay.
Well,
don't fuck with
some
Michigan.
people are more privileged than other people. That's what we see here.
All right. It is Ben Bear's freaking birthday.
Yep.
Ben Bear is one of the most prominent DJs in our community. And it is his birthday. And like true village fashion, he wants to spend at least a part of that day of birth celebration with you beautiful people of the village.
And by extension, us.
This is what happens, dear listener. People tell you there's not a lot of good stuff in YouTube, but you can say, listen, there's this one channel, trust me, they're the greatest. They're the greatest. Steve Shylmagoghnar in this bitch. Steve Shylmagoghnar in this bitch.
Okay.
All right, so I would put this in the Cowboys from Hell category.
Yeah, I would too.
Or this is where the band is bragging about what they're about. You see what I'm saying? Like this is who we are, type of thing.
Yes, ish. The reason I say ish is because like Cowboys from was it Cowboys from Hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. That song to me was like, we alone are great. We are coming to slay your city. But this one, which I loved, I mean, don't get me wrong, that energy is very enjoyable to me. I find it very entertaining. I love that level of ego and like...
mendacity.
Yeah, I like that mendacity. Yeah. Although, I'm not so sure. Maybe if I lived in that town and, I'm just kidding. Okay, come with us. The reason I think it's a little bit different is because this one is like, it's involving everybody else to come in. Come with us. We're going to make you feel alive when the lights go down. Feel the burn inside. So you've had a rough year. Let's leave it in the dust. Tonight's going to shine. Tonight you're going to shine. Tonight here with us. Oh, it makes me emotional. I didn't expect that. But yeah, it like
So this one's a little bit more inclusive than Cowboys from Hell. Cowboys from Hell was just, listen,
we're coming to slay your city. Just you know, leave
literally.
us your women and move out the way. It's just. But this one is like everybody. You know, have had a rough year. Everybody's
had a rough year. Just come on down, step on by.
Yeah, and we're gonna like enjoy this all together. And
I agree. That's actually a pretty interesting nuance because a lot of these bands, like there seems to be, like, especially with the old school bands, like everybody had a song where it was like, yo, this is who we are. I wish the newer bands would do that.
There's your tea here and there's a water here.
I wish the newer bands would do that. Like Lamb of God, if Lamb of God came out with we're Lamb of God and this is what we do.
I 100% agree. I wish every band had one of those songs.
I think we're just too cool now to do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
I think we're just too cool. Too cool for school.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we should abandon the old ways. Some of them were kind of...
Yeah, some of those old ways were kind of badass. I just don't know how you could do it in the modern era.
I don't know.
But
you know what?
This is the thing about the metal community that people don't like. If you're outside of the community, you just can't understand it. And it's one of like the best things about the metal community accepting you. Because like you're like the pinnacle of like what's not supposed to be in the metal community, but they accepted you because you were willing to learn, which I thought was really cool.
Yep.
And like that's really like there is metal elitism, obviously. Like, oh, you listen to these mainstream, you're not a true metalhead. But I mean, for the most part, metalheads will pretty much take you where you're at. Like I said, there are metal elitists, but most metalheads, if they see somebody that looks like a normie, but like understands like a band like Opeth or something like that, they get very excited, like and you get brought in. It's the metal community is a very. It's really a community designed for people on the outside. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you look at the lyrics, like so you've had a rough year. Yeah. Like that's the metal community. Like most people have rough days. People talk about a rough patch.
Right. The whole damn year.
Metal community. It's the year. Had a rough year. Had a rough lifetime. Yeah. Come on down. Stop out. Yeah. That's the difference to me. Like, that's another thing that kind of separates. I'm not saying it's better per se, but like the type of communities that gets created, to me, seem a lot more. It's easier to get to the brotherhood stage of fandom in the metal community versus in the rap community. Yeah. Like, it's very, very hard to do that, so...
Yeah, I think, honestly, it's probably the only community that I've ever... I mean, and this is unfortunately, but even including, like churches and church groups and stuff like that, it's probably the only community that I entered into, and then it was, like, literally, like, probably my worst performance years of all was like the last probably 4 years of my life. Like all the other groups that I've been a part of, I think they would have completely rejected me at that point. But I didn't feel like that. I actually felt like, well, these people are going to be, they're still going to accept me. And I definitely felt the love from the community for sure. Even like the comment section and stuff, like some of the days where I was just really not doing well. And, I don't know. It's just really interesting to see like, a group of people, maybe because everybody else is also like, well, we too have bad days. So it's like, like you said, a bad year or whatever. You know what I mean?
Or like my man BC. BC's had a rough 40 years.
It's a long time.
Holy shit, BC. What's going on, bro?
So maybe try make some different decisions this year. See if it, go somewhere else.
Try to make different decisions. Okay.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I love this one. I love this one. Hey, what's up? I mean, ride with us because we're going to take the lead. I don't know about what make hairpin turns means.
That's like when you're driving on the highway.
A hairpin turn, that's what they call it?
Yeah, and you got to do like a real... The only reason I know...
That's such an old-fashioned phrase.
I used the Hardy Boys.
Really?
And there was a hairpin turn literally every book. It was like, I was starting to figure it out. I was like, oh, wait a second. that guy who was like mysteriously hanging around the art gallery, the boys finally put together, you know what, I think this nigga stole the artwork. So the guy like, oh no, they figured me out.
That was a square shape
and then
on
he goes
my
and
shirt.
he takes like the $7,000, which apparently was a lot of money back in those days. This guy like put his whole life on the line for $7,000. Okay. But he takes the thing and he dumps it in the car, which is like ridiculous. And then off he goes, and there's like, oh no! And then the boys jumped in the car, and then they had to make I was like, let me guess, they had to make a hairpin turn.
Is that like a complete 180 basically?
Yeah, it's when you're like,
actually, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
When I was in Bible college, we got like really good at hairpins because you figured what was going to happen was you were probably going to meet a guy, you were going to be on the mission field, the middle of nowhere, and you were going to have to do what you could with what you had. And so like curling irons and all that stuff probably weren't going to be a thing. So you had like figured up ways to pull up your hair and twist it and then use the hairpins. But like literally the way that you use the hairpins, you slide it in and then it's literally a complete twist and then back the same direction. So I see where they're coming from.
the hairpin turn is also known as the switchback. Yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah, the Hardy Boys, like everywhere they went, oh, championship, guaranteed. The guy had to make a hairpin turn. Oh.
Really?
Yeah, oh,
Every
the guy
book
stole the lumber for the fire. Hey, what's going on here?
Hairpin turn.
They got a car. Yeah, hairpin turn. Nothing but the Hardy Boys, the hairpin turns. Huh? What you know
I
about
actually never read the Hardy Boys.
What do you mean? I'm surprised they haven't turned that into a show yet.
They
make one of them trans or something. Yeah. No, I'm dead ass serious because it's like 3 boys.
Right.
You could cover everything. One of them could be like, "Oh shit, mom cheated on dad. You're half black." So we could have a half black Hardy Boy. Then we could have an LGBT Hardy Boy.
I almost threw my key, babe.
And they could solve all the crime. Wait a second, it was Johnny that voted for Trump. That would be.
That's why you had that perpetual tan.
You get arrested and shit. They throw you in jail.
Oh my word. Okay.
But like, the song is, I think it's just about like on our way to devastate Wall of Sound, Sonic Beatdown, and then it's don't let them make you feel small, which I think is a really important, because and like I listen to everything, right? So I'm more inclined to listen to long periods of opposition or people that don't think like me.
100%. That is true.
And so it's like there is a level where like the whole woke thing is just like it's like way farther than it needs to be. And what I define woke as is taking a legitimate social issue and then stretching it to credulity, right? Mm-hmm. So that the act of stretching something beyond credulity, that's what I'm calling wokeness. So it's like one example of this would be if you don't call me by my pronouns, blah 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 should happen to you. If you don't address me by my proper pronouns, you should be fired. You should be this. You should be that.
That one that was just playing where they said that they were going to scoop your brains out with a spoon. What
Yeah,
was
that one was like on the extreme.
Obviously
sides.
extreme, but why? Was that because the pronouns issue?
Yeah, it was a pronoun thing, and he wanted to murder you if you didn't get their pronouns right. But I'm just using that as an example. Mm-hmm. But like, or even in the black community, it's like, you get triggered because whatever, somebody talks about Martin Luther King's, sex life or whatever. Now you get triggered and you're having a meltdown, and then the person that made you feel upset for bringing up what Dr. King did, that person is the bad guy, and blah, 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 blah. Like that, the message to outsiders or marginalized people that's given right now is, like you're made out of wax, and the way to overcome that is not to create strength in the person or in the marginalized individual, but to get everybody in the surrounding community to coddle this person. And coddling to me is not always negative, right? Like you need to coddle babies, like you should do that, and if you don't, you're a horrible person. But like coddling people in their victimhood, but never empowering them to overcome it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so then you have cancel culture and things like that. Uh-huh. And the point of that is, I don't think that they're like I do believe that there are bad actors at the governmental level that purposely understand how psychology and how people work. But for the most part, I think at the ground level, your normal over woke person is just a person trying to be nice to everybody. Like, I don't think they're trying to do anything.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, what ends up happening is people start getting socialized around their victimization, and in order to live in that kind of world, everybody around you has to treat you a certain way. I think this methodology is better.
Yeah.
Is to say, don't let them make you feel small.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't need a trigger warning. This is a thing that a lot of like new school, social justice, and I don't mean social justice warrior in a pejorative sense, but if you're 19 and 20 years old, you've never lived in a world without the internet, like specifically without social media internet. So it's not about like, oh, you have to go touch the grass. It's you guys are coming up in a completely different paradigm than we came out with. So, for example, nobody cared about what you posted in an AOL chat back in the day. We didn't care. Nobody would get fired for anything that you put in the AOL chat. Now, you got to scrub your shit from a decade ago and blah, 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 because we're trying to protect people's feelings. But what it ends up doing is it creates a society of people who now resent this minority of people, because now our entire lives have to be upended. Our language has to be upended to make sure you feel okay. And what that does is it boomerangs and it generates a lot of resentment and hostility.
Yep. And then I think go ahead.
But whereas back in the day, like being the only black kid in Maine, for example, in the late 80s, like you could do the math. I always tell the story. I came home, first day in an American school. I was a Jamaican immigrant. I said, "Mom, what's a nigger?" She said, "Oh, don't worry about that. That's what the white kids say when they're afraid of you." She said, "Somebody call you?" I was like, "Yeah." She said, "All right, next time you see him, just hit him in the mouth." I was like, "Oh, for real?" She's like, "Yeah, just hit him in the mouth, and then he'll know that not to cross the line or whatever." And like, to this day, that term doesn't affect me. I don't care about it. It's not. I mean, I went to school and the Bible says to honor your father and mother, so I gave the kid an eye jammy, but that's just because the Bible said so. But like, it's never, that word is never, my mother refused to let that word have that kind of power over her.
Right.
She just would not.
Right.
They were just saying that because they're afraid of you, whatever it was. So every time that term was used, I was like,
Yep. Yep.
You don't want to go there, looking at me so scared.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, that methodology of dealing with trolls or racists or cishet white male, whatever, like whatever the boogeyman is, like, that was way more empowering. And it just completely took all the venom out of the bite, because, like, if you're calling somebody some name that they're supposed to react to and they're like, you're scared, come over here. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, what's the point of saying it? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, back in the day, that's what our parents used to tell us. They would not go to the school and have a fucking parent-teacher conference that now the entire school has to, adapt to me. We've got a black kid in the school, so now we're going to... And this is what's happening with trans kids. That's like, they'll call a PTA and all this, and they'll have to talk about how to deal with this one kid. Now the kid's going into school.
You've essentially ostracized that one kid, because
Correct.
It's like you said, the resentment is going to grow from the other students, and nobody wants to live under the thumb of somebody. And if you put that on all the other students, then to the kid's face, they might do it, but it's also going to make them not want to be around that kid, because they're like, it's just too much work to have to jump through all the hoops that you want me. I can't live naturally and normally when you're around. And another interesting story that goes along with what you were saying, Vinny and I used to go outside of, I understand this is controversial for some people, which is odd to me, but we were outside of an abortion clinic, and we would talk to the women on their way in, offer them help, tell them, we would help them, whatever they needed, diapers, whatever, anything that could help them, whatever was preventing them from giving that child life, like, we wanted to help be the reason where they could let that kid live. And it wasn't just like over there condemning people, it was like just generally wanting to help. Anyway, this woman comes by, and she was of a similar complexion as Vinny, and I started talking with her about it, and I brought up that the numbers, which I don't remember now, the numbers of how, originally how abortion started and how it was predominantly used in the black community, and how many black babies over and against the majority of white babies, that, what the numbers were. And she couldn't even hear the numbers or what I was saying. She jumped on the word black because I said black. And then she was like, what? She's like, you racist, blah, blah, blah. I was like, are you serious? Like, Sanger, the one that started this, and
that's what I'm saying.
She's the one.
Like that.
But she was completely sidetracked. She couldn't even focus on what the actual major racist issue was in that conversation. And I also saw people coming by, and they wanted to silence Vinny's voice, and so they would use that word. And I would get very angry when I would hear the word. You would always chuckle and look at them like you could tell like that it didn't, they wanted it to like trigger you so you would stop talking and get focused on the word, but it held no power over you.
I said they're killing babies upstairs. I don't care if you call me a nigger. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And like these people support killing children. What do you think they're gonna? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, like. This methodology, I just think, is so much better. It's not like a walk it off. It's not like this is not a big deal. He's saying, don't let them make you feel
And it is
small.
a decision within yourself. Like, you can that's the one thing that I've been kind of noticing about, like, my own, like, transition toward, like, more toward positivity and stuff, is there are certain things that I'll hear or certain moods that kind of like come to me, and then there's like a moment where you make the decision if you're gonna like lean into it and then like keep thinking about it and let those words or those feelings just marinate and go over it, and then it almost becomes like a trigger point, like where now it's almost like you can't pull yourself out of it. So now, like, when I start recognizing like I'm slipping down that slope in toward like pulling me down toward deeper depression, I'm like, I don't want to go there. So whatever I feel like is kind of turned me in that direction, like I'm not going there. Like, I'm going to look at the situation, I'm going to say X, Y, and Z thing hurt me. But it's not the end of the world. For me, my Christianity is what helps pull me out, because if I start feeling small, I remind myself right at the beginning of the Bible, Jesus, God tells us that we're made in the image and likeness of God. So we reflect his image. Like, if you, back in the day, like, you couldn't go spit on some idol because it represented a god. If you did that, you would lose your friggin' life. So it's like we are what with the golden image that represented that false god or that like being whatever it is. You couldn't disrespect that thing without the people coming against it. Well, God says that we're that image. So we're going about in life and we're representing the highest God. Like, there's nothing better than that. And that's not just for people who believe it or people that claim it. That's for everybody. So I hold on to that, and I'm like, I'm not letting myself slip down with my face in the dirt anymore. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, so yeah, holding on to something positive, shutting off the music that's like adding to my negative mood, and putting on something that's actually going to bring me more toward a positive direction. Like, use the things around you, your environment, to pull you toward a better life. So
that's it just seemed like
I liked it. Right here, sorry.
Go ahead.
From the deepest trench to the highest mountain peak, united, we'll never know defeat. And I like that because, again, I think it's very, very difficult to pull yourself out of a very deep place without community, without help. Some of the people in my life right now, they've been there at the moments that I really needed them. And it might be something as small as a Bible verse or some prayer or a song. And it probably didn't really require too much of them to help, but shout out to the church.
Yeah, so I like the song. I'm going to give this one a solid 9.2. Sonic Beatdown in this bitch.
9.6 for me.
Sonic Beatdown in this bitch. DJ Ben, you see this right there.
Happy
DJ
birthday.
Ben was born on this day.
Well,
Celebrate, Village.
Tomorrow, I believe.
Or tomorrow.
Yep. Dream Theater, Stream of Consciousness is up next. So come right back, or stay where you are, or whatever.
Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Oh. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
What are Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Dream Theater, Stream of Consciousness. This is what DJ Ben, our birthday, I don't know, is it insulting to say birthday boy when you're grown? I don't know. For our birthday rock person. A great song for a lyrics leaning reaction channel. This is Stream of Consciousness by Dream Theater. It's an instrumental. The lyrics are there if you try hard enough. Wink, wink. Deranged laughter. Okay. I think there are probably no lyrics, but he wants us to look for them. All right, Ben, you're in a funny mood, I see, when you created this.
Yeah.
Smeagol, deranged laughter. Actually, I had the perfect
Starting to figure him out.
evil laugh the other
All right,
day.
now I wrote a little 2-minute instrumental on guitar, so I will see if this Dream Theater stuff is up to par, up to snuff, as they say.
Let's check it out.
All right, what are we talking about? This is Dream Theater.
Stream of
Consciousness. Here we go.
I've been really into instrumentals lately, so I'm very interested.
Smoke them if you got them, people. Metallica. sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But listen to that drumming again. Listen out for the drumming.
Like a tornado.
Nasty! Nasty! Mob shit.
Yeah. We need a hat. Dream Theater.
Is Dream Theater? What's the
Stream of Consciousness. I love that. What?
You have your phone?
Why do you want my phone, babe?
Well, I'm trying to get the song on the
On what?
thing to add it to my playlist.
I told you, Ben.
Huh?
I said that. I'm like, I think he's trying to, because he thought you were going to give it like a 3.5 or something, because you were like...
That song?
Yeah, that you were like, this song is way too long. I guess my phone's not in here, babe.
What do you mean this song was too long? Who said the song was too long?
He thought that's what you were going to say.
This song?
Yeah, because like one person, it might have been like Dwayne was like, Vinny when he's basically not Vinny, but Vin when he's realizing he actually likes prog. But then Ben was like, no, I think that he's feeling like, why is this song so long?
This is an instrumental.
Yeah, but it was still progressive instrumental.
I mean, it's Dream Theater. It's funny because I believe it or not, I usually don't like this band. This is actually like one of my...
I told you he was
I
trying
don't
to...
like...
Because I saw him looking around, I'm like, yo, I think he wants a song.
The genre itself kind of bothers me. I'm not going to lie to you. But...
That's what you always say,
in
but like how many songs...
This band is probably what turned me against this genre. But...
This band? No. It was Harlequin Forest.
Was it Opeth? Yeah,
it was Opeth, Harlequin Forest.
I'm pretty sure it was Opeth that turned me against.
And that ever since then, it was
so-called
over.
progressive music.
It was
but
over.
This right here, it's Dream Theater, right? So everything they do is whatever. But like this, the reason the song was so long was because it took you different places. It took you with Mediterranean scale work for a little bit. Then it took you to like the ending flourish type of, they did a really good job developing that, it's almost like the Phantom of the Opera type scale at the beginning, and they made it basically a chiasm with that because the song ended with that too at the end.
Yeah,
but when
that was pretty, I like that.
Yeah, but in the second sort of revolution on that, they added this like almost classical keyboard work on top of it. Like they really, really developed it, but it never got... See, the thing I hate about prog is that it's an extremely, in my view, pretentious genre. It's there's like 4,000 notes in a prog song that are completely and totally unnecessary, and it's just so that people could say, oh, look, I've got this 14 and a half minute genius prog song. Everybody just pretend like you're not bored to fucking death. But that's not what this was. Like, this was like, we're going to the Mediterranean, we're going here, we're going to do classical western scale, here's a classic metal scale, there's some Metallica here, there's some, and then on top of it, they kept developing that original kind of little sequence, but they would do different things on top of it. I thought it was just incredible. It was a very... Everything in this song, in my opinion, was necessary. There was no like, oh, cut out 15 seconds here. That's the thing I hate about prog. It's like, that song could have been 2.5 minutes shorter and we would have gotten the same idea. It's like, we get it, you're a guitar virtuoso, excellent, whatever. But this one, I felt like everything was necessary, and I felt like the drumming was perfect, and then the drummer, it's just something that I usually don't notice on the first go around of a song. I usually notice drummers later when I go to listen, re-listen to the songs again. That's when I recognize the drummer. But this one, it was just like really, really out there.
When you pointed out the drumming, the way that the pattern went, do you remember back in the day at the store, you could donate a quarter for kids in the hospital or something? You'd put it in that thing and it would go around and around and around. Do you remember that?
Wait, say that again?
It was it was a little thing you could donate a quarter or any kind of coin, but it would go the drumming kind of felt like it was doing that, which I always love those things. Definitely, I'm wondering if the reason that we don't generally like prog, or you seem to actually really like it, but is a lot of times when we do
prog bands
get
worked every time.
I don't believe so. I don't
Because I'm
believe
always
so.
going like, that was 2 minutes long, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, those, when you do say that, yeah, but I feel like that there's been plenty of them where you haven't felt that way, but this is interesting. Our DJ Ben Bear says, funny enough, your reaction of Harlequin Forest is what got me into Opeth, and then your second reaction to Opeth Bleak was where I had to absolutely jump down the Opeth rabbit hole. You hated that one, the Harlequin Forest. My thing
Go
is,
listen to that song. Go listen to it.
I understand what you're saying about the length of it, but at the end, I mean, given what the song was about, I still stick to the heartbeat thing. But anyway, we're not doing that review right now. I wonder if the reason you like this one so much too is because there was no vocals. Like, it was just the music, and so sometimes I feel like with prog, it's just so much all over the place because there's like the song itself is making so many transitions, and then there's vocals in there, and you just feel like you're assaulted by too much
I agree.
noise.
I mean, there have been prog reviews where I just said, why didn't they just make this an instrumental? It would have been so much better.
That's true.
I've said that
you have, yeah.
Because it's like, okay, if you want to show off that you're a guitar virtuoso and your drummer and your bassist have some unique rhythm section that nobody's heard of before, mashallah tabaraka, do it in an instrumental when I'm not trying to like listen to an entire song. Like this was perfect. It was perfect because it was an instrumental. I really liked it, man. I really, really liked it, which is, you figure
I mean, he was looking for it to add to his.
this would kind of like be my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Is a prog instrumental, but
yeah,
this was good because I don't know why, but this was good. The flourish at the end was incredible. I just really, 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 really enjoyed it. 9.8 for me.
it was. I enjoyed the entire thing as well. The beginning and the ending were my absolute favorite. I was actually like the beginning, the way that it started, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna cry. But then it got heavy and it switched, and so there was no need for tears. So I was glad about that. But it was so pretty to begin with. It was
weird
just
thing in the comment section. Vin won't admit to it. He just lets you. He'll just tell you it's not prog. Pretty sure. Does Dwayne thinks that I like prog?
Yeah, and he's saying whenever it's a prog song that you
reviews.
like, you just say it's not prog, and so that's how you get away with it.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, look at this. Look. Dude looks gay. I think he's talking about me.
No,
What do you mean?
he's talking about his little picture on the side.
Listen. It's 2024, man. Like that's not really an insult at this point. You feel me?
Is that?
All right, here we go. Song number 3. Hexen, Stream of Unconsciousness.
Wait, are we doing
What?
a commercial?
Yeah, I'm just letting the folks know. Okay, Hexen, Stream of Unconsciousness
Oh,
is the next
interesting.
song.
Okay, Stream of Unconsciousness. We just did Stream of Consciousness. All right, let's check it out.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull
You
that off.
can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and y'all shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst. Go ahead.
DJ Ben's birthday stream.
DJ Ben's birthday stream
is a band called Hexen. The name of the song is Stream of Unconsciousness. And that's back to back with the other song that was just Stream of Consciousness by Dream Theater. So let's see if there's a different... That's interesting. I wonder if there's going to be like... Is it going to feel like the flip side or not? All right, so next up, quite fittingly, is Stream of Unconsciousness, says our DJ, by the band Hexen. Oh. I think this is... Oh, this is from their Being and Nothingness
this bitch.
2012 album.
Wait, say that again now.
Being of Nothingness.
Being and
Nothingness.
Being and Nothingness.
2012.
All right.
Let's check it out. Left.
Being and
right.
Nothingness.
Left, right, left.
Being and Nothingness. All right. Hexen, Stream of Unconsciousness.
Yep.
Let's do it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Talk to the people.
Oh, okay. Well, then, you guys are random Ask Me Anything while we wait for I don't even know what. Let's see, what do the people have to say? this one.
Whoa,
This one was
man.
like therapeutic feeling.
Yeah. This one was. He's talking about some real stuff in this song.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones where I'm like, did you timestamp this thing yet?
Yep.
This might be a long review. Depends on what we do. Okay, what hit you in this song?
Well, for one thing, I liked the album cover. Did you see this? It's pretty cool. Like, it looks like this really cold room.
Yeah, that is a
over
badass
here,
album
look at this.
cover.
It's like a door into another door, which is another door. Which this like literally even the color scheme matches dreams that I have. So it's pretty weird to see it like artistically put out.
That's
this is
interesting.
exactly the color scheme, exactly.
That's
and sometimes it
interesting.
looks cold like that too. Anyway, so that was pretty interesting. Although I've never had a spiraling staircase, it's always just rooms. Anyway. Yeah, this was a really interesting song. I kept like feeling like I was catching some of it, and then there was a little bit that I was like, and then the ending I thought was a pretty crazy ending. But I'd like for you to probably like start, and I'll jump in with you.
I just want to show everybody. Here's the pic that we were talking about, like the album cover.
Look over there, like right here. You see the door that's going into another door, which is another door.
Yeah, it's like super.
Yeah, it's
detailed.
Pretty, yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it's kind of like hanging. The room is kind of like hanging in the middle of the universe.
That's
almost.
right. Yeah.
Like suspended.
Yep.
And then you've got time down there. Like you see the clock is broken.
I did not.
There's a broken clock down there.
Oh, I didn't realize it was broken. Yeah.
And that's time. I'm assuming that's.
Yep.
There's a lot of. You can hang out. You could hang out just on
Right
the
there.
album art.
Yeah.
Which. That's one of those things, man, where. Getting your music digitally is so freaking convenient. Like you guys, you new jacks like Delaney and them. You guys like you're just used to. Oh, I like this song. I'm gonna put it into YouTube and then download it. Or I have an iTunes account. I'll just download the song immediately. It wasn't like that. You had to buy an entire record. Well, one of the things that came with that was the album art.
We live in a physical universe, so there is something special about having something physically in your hands.
Yeah, and so when you got that book and you looked at that album art, sometimes the band was trying to communicate. They would put little Easter eggs in there like Tool and all that. You know what I'm saying? It was, so that aspect of like the ritual of getting your music and stuff like that is pretty much gone. Which, that's evolution, right? That's good. It's just that part of it is like one of my best, most wholesome experiences as a metalhead was getting Follow the Leader and opening it for the first time. That was anyway. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this song here. Stream of Unconsciousness is the name of the song. What did you get from it, or are you waiting for me to?
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for you to kind of. There was some of it that really like made a lot of sense and stuff, but I just kind of I don't have like sometimes I have like a way that I'm going with it, and I don't have that yet. So with my conscience frozen, I began empirically to disassemble truths, ethics, and reality, since our lives are confined to the depths of our minds. That line I thought was crazy. Certainly is obsolete, far too long and false things I believed. I do think that our lives are confined to the depths of our minds, like to a degree. I do think that we can limit ourselves or be a part of a much broader environment. For instance, whenever my anxiety has been its worst, I feel like I'm trapped in a room inside of myself, and it's kind of like fearful, and so I thought of that when he said that, since our lives are confined to the depths of our minds, because if you I don't know, depending on how free you are, defines how free you are. But anyway, what's your take?
Well, we're just now starting to get into Hegel, and Hegel, to some degree, is a reaction to Kant. And of course, Kant, one of Kant's main contribution to the discussion was the impossibility that what we perceive is the actual thing in itself.
In its totality, right?
Right? Not even necessarily its totality, but in its actual reality. So for example, if you look at the moon, you're seeing a part of the moon, not in totality, but if you ask 100 people, 99 of them are going to say, yeah, that's the moon. That's pretty much what the moon looks like. And Kant would say, no, it's impossible that what you're seeing in your mind's eye is what the thing actually is, right? Like Kant didn't believe that. He thought it was impossible. Now, he just looked at that from a philosophical perspective. So, for example, if you say something like the sun is yellow, how do I know that your version of yellow and my version of yellow are exactly the same thing? There's no way to know. Then there's the whole dress test situation where it was like, is it a gold and white dress or is it a blue and black dress? And that was really interesting because it was going back and forth, and finally the people who made the dress said actually it was a
blue and black, right?
Blue and black dress. Yeah. We saw white and gold.
Yeah.
So, like, your empiricism as a philosophy, right? Like, if I start with a couple presuppositions, one presupposition.
I always that the dress thing, it still messes with me because I'm like, just because the creators of the dress said that it is definitively blue and black, doesn't that just tell us that that's the way they perceive it?
Right.
So we don't even know. So we're all like relating our perception to their perception. It's just weird and interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. The most that lady told us was her intention.
Yes. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what that's the value of that. But whether we can actually know the thing in itself,
I'll send it to you, baby.
That's another question.
Or are you gonna get it?
Yeah. But that's one example of it. But there are other examples of it. Like
there was the share. There's a sneaker.
Laurel.
There's Yanny Laurel.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of different things. Like when you play it, like the Yanny Laurel thing. If you go on YouTube and just type Yanny Laurel and you'll play it. The first time you hear it through, like just hear what you hear, and then try to hear it again, but hear the other word. And it's weird because it does morph. It's bizarre. So this dress right here, some people see this as like, but you could put the other one up too. Kind of shows people how it is. But some people see that as like black and blue.
Black and blue, yeah.
Which is apparently what the original creator's intention of the dress was. But it's weird to me because it looks so much like gold and white to me in some weird lighting.
I know, it's crazy.
But
see, and there's
Jet.
There's
really?
Jet.
You see blue and black?
Jet sees blue and black. There it is. This is what I'm talking about. Ben Bear saw it as black and blue. Black and blue to middle. To us, it's plain as day that it's white and gold.
Archero sees white and gold.
Archero sees the accurate, which is white and gold.
That's so crazy.
But you have other people that see this as black and blue.
I don't understand.
I don't even see how you guys see it that way.
Yeah, I don't either.
But this
white and gold, blue and black. Says
Leah says blue and black.
Interesting.
Joe Biden says black, but that's Joe Biden.
He sees black.
We're going to have to leave that one alone. Okay. It's a colonizing color to me. Yeah.
That's so crazy. Okay, what color is the jacket? All of you people that see it as blue and black, what color is the jacket?
What do you mean the jacket?
There's a little jacket over it.
Oh, yeah.
What color is that jacket? That jacket's white. White and gold, right?
Lost Hate has black and blue.
Unbelievable.
Alexander has Jester's
brown and blue.
Yep, I've heard that too. Blue and gray. Look, so that's the point of this song. The empiricism is I'm going to be able to validate this particular hypothesis, using my senses.
Jet sees a blue jacket. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just like it's hard for me if I didn't know you guys. Like literally, I'm actually freaking out about this moment right now because all the time I wasn't really believing that people actually see it differently than that. I was like, nah, I don't know.
The jacket is solid blue, and we see the jacket is
solid
white. So
that's so wild. But sometimes I wonder, like, because sometimes you'll point out an outfit and you'll be like, that is a really badass outfit, and I'm like, what? That clashes.
What? Okay. Here, let's test this out for everybody. What color is my hoodie? Okay. Now, you could say orange, white, or gold. Okay? Orange, white, or gold. What color is my hoodie? And they're going to get it right, I guarantee you. So, why does everybody get this right, but they don't get the dress thing right?
I wouldn't
from
pick
our standpoint.
any one of those colors.
See, everybody's saying gold, beige, See what I'm saying?
I would've said
Light brown. So they're all seeing that.
I don't get it.
And for us, the dress is basically a light version of my hoodie.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody's pretty much seeing the same thing when they look at the hoodie. But when they look at the dress, they're seeing something completely random and crazy.
Possible?
But that's the argument of the song. Like we're demonstrating what this guy's saying right now.
Yeah.
Like, with my conscience frozen, I begin empirically to disassemble the truth, ethics, and reality. Since our lives are confined to the depths of our minds, certainty is obsolete. Right? So if you can't know something as simple as what color you're looking at, how in the world can you then say, with the powers of observation, that we know what the hell is going on in the universe?
When we can't even visualize
there's like
everything.
50 of us in this room, and we can't even figure out what the color of a. That's the argument this guy is making.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say certainty is obsolete, which is where the tracks fall off. Because anytime somebody says certainty is obsolete, that in itself is a certain statement. Mm-hmm. Is obsolete, that's a certain statement. There's no possibility for another counterfactual to exist if that thing is true. So I think the conclusion that he's coming to, that a lot of people come to when they really sit and think this through, is to say, so Leah says there's a scientific reason behind the dress thing. I don't recall what it was. Yeah, there's some. I forgot what the theory is. Remember, these people have theories for why these things happen. Okay, but the point is that we have to recognize that there is a difference between the real world and the phenomenological world. And when I say phenomenology, I'm talking about what the world looks like from a human perspective. So, for example, it's like, can you sit still?
Oh.
Right? Well, yes, I am still right now, but everybody knows that I'm moving like hundreds of miles an hour through the universe on this globe we call an Earth. But phenomenologically speaking, from my sense data, I feel like I'm standing still and not moving at all.
Yeah.
Right? The other one is the sunset, right? Sun up or sun down. The sun doesn't go up or down. What the weatherman is talking about is the phenomenology. In other words, what it looks like from our perspective without, our scientific lens to look through. So if we cannot see the thing in itself, if all we're seeing is phenomenological representations of things, then how can you have certainty is sort of the argument. And that absolutely works from a materialist perspective. It does not work from our perspective. So yeah, as a materialist, that is kind of a, I don't really know how you unwrap that pretzel. But at some point, you're going to have to try to figure out how to do that. For far too long, in false things I believed, inferences derives from delusion and dreams. The cosmos is not bounded by what we perceived in convoluted mental streams. That's true. So he's basically saying he came to the realization that the things that he was told were false. But simultaneous to that, he denied certainty.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see how that's contradictory at all. He says, certainty is obsolete. Far too long in false things I believed. Like, he literally stacked those things on top of each other and doesn't see the contradiction. My brother.
Yeah.
If there's no such thing as certainty, or if certainty is useless, because you said it's obsolete, then how in the world can you say that you believed in anything false?
Right.
That's a certain statement. If you say that you believed in falsehood, that means that there is a truth, because falsehood is a derivative from truth. It's not an ontology in itself. Falsehood is what we call somebody deliberately misrepresenting the truth. So how can you have that if you cannot have certainty? How can you have you cannot have falsehood without the concept of truth? So this to me is what happens when it's like you're just smart enough to see the problems, but not wise enough to harmonize for the solution.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's saying, okay, it is impossible for us to know the ultimate reality of the physical world around us. That's impossible. Okay, fine. That's true. However, how do we treat one another? What is a human being? Things like that. Maybe we should start trying to figure out the answers to those questions.
Yep.
And realize that, well, if we can't tell the difference between what color an actual dress is, then we have to realize that color itself is a hallucination in your brain.
Yep.
There are no such thing as colors. All of these things are hallucinations. People can do what they want with it, but I mean, we just demonstrated it. And there's so much. I wish you guys, if it wasn't so boring, I would do a deep dive into Don Hoffman stuff and go into the math and shit. But anyway, this guy's really, really hitting on something.
You know what's interesting too? The concept of dreams. Like in a dream, if you remember your dream, like you have your senses, and like I've been in dreams where I would eat something and it tasted like what it would taste like.
Right.
And we've normalized it because we all do it every single night. But it is bizarre. Like, you know, you were asleep last night and, you know, I woke up and I was looking at you and I'm like, this is so crazy. Like, you're here, but you're gone. You're like completely gone. And it's like, well, where is his consciousness, and what is his consciousness doing, and what other consciousnesses, like if you remember your dreams, which I generally do, like sometimes I have repeat customers, you know, like people I see again, I'm like, oh, there's that person, you know, like it's just interesting. Or like last night, I mean, this is kind of cute, but I found you in my dream and you started dancing with me in a kitchen. And then I'm like, who was I dancing with? Like, you were asleep in the bed beside me. Like, who was that
Yeah.
the Vinny that, and who am I in my, it's just interesting, like consciousness and, you know, like how much we understand and what feels like reality when you're in it, but then when you come back awake, then there's a different reality. It's just, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. And then, you know, I guess people just start filling in the blanks and then making definitive statements, but they're contradictory, interestingly. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the human mind cannot distinguish between reality and what it vividly imagines, which is why dreams feel real. Well, what does real mean? When a person, like I knew a dude, if he was in a fight in a dream, he would do like this in
his sleep,
in his sleep.
In the body.
So,
Yeah.
like, are we saying it's not real because there isn't a physical person there fighting him? But on the mental side of things, his mind and body, or the automated systems within his person, did not believe it wasn't real, because it triggered, you know, these kinds of responses and things of that nature. So it's like,
Yeah.
when we say something is real, what are we talking about here? Like, am I real right now? You guys are looking at me. Well, I am real, but what you're looking at as a representation of me is not real.
Right. Yeah, you guys are all looking at pixels.
You're looking
What's up,
at
Mrs. Mudd?
You're looking at a bunch of pixels that's designed to represent me, but even if you were here in, quote, real life, you still wouldn't be seeing the real me if Kant is right, and I believe that he is. Right? Like, even if I was right in front of you, how do you know that your perception of me is the actual me, especially considering this dress situation we just did? Leah says, the ambiguity of the lighting leads some people's brain to interpret the dress as being in shadow, appearing black and blue, while others interpret it as being in light, appearing white and gold. That is a theory that they have as to why we perceive them differently.
Right, and I've read that theory before, but that doesn't work for me because when I look at the dress, I see a white and gold dress that's in the shadow. So I'm already perceiving a shadow. Like when you look at
I'm sure there's like 50 reasons. You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's why I'm saying that one didn't work for me because I'm like, it's just not.
I'm pretty sure that initial explanation covers a lot of it. I just think that there are aspects to our perceptive abilities that we haven't even begun to realize yet, and that's because we assume that when we look at the moon, we're seeing the thing in itself. So, that's what I'm saying about the song. The song is this guy is coming into sort of an epistemic crisis. And an epistemic crisis is a little bit different from a religious crisis. A religious crisis is to say, oh my God, I believe this thing was true, but now I found out it isn't true. Now what do I do? But an epistemic crisis is the idea of truth itself. Right? There's a difference between saying, I used to believe this and I thought it was true, now it's not. Mm-hmm. That's one crisis. But what about a crisis where you say to yourself, the concept of truth itself is gone? Okay? That is an epistemic crisis where you're like, hold on, we got to pull back. The entire operation is doomed from the beginning, from that paradigm. And I think he's right. I think Kant was right. And I think that the answer to that is a revelational epistemology. Meaning, if this world is some sort of a matrix, right? Some sort of, program run in the mind of a supercomputer or whatnot. Only people outside of that matrix can tell us what actual reality is. Nobody from within the matrix can do that. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, because by definition, you're in the matrix. And so, if there is here's what we know, here's what we believe. We believe that we're in a physical universe, that we do not have the perceptive abilities to measure accurately. So all of our perceptive abilities are not there in service of getting us to see the truth. Our perceptive abilities are given to us so that we can survive and replicate genes, right? So I'm giving a secular case for this. Yeah. Now, obviously, our assumptions are different, mm-hmm. but our perceptive abilities, sight, hear, feeling, touch, all that shit, it's not designed for you to see the world as it is. It's designed for you to survive the longest and propagate the most genes. Okay? So there's no reason for you to see the world accurately. And quite frankly, Hoffman argues that if you were to see the world accurately, you would die in a day. Right? It's like if you're playing Fortnite and even in its simplified state, for us, Fortnite is still difficult to play. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to build. I mean, you're essentially programming a computer, mm-hmm. When you're telling it to build. But what if you had to go behind the scenes and do all the shit that the engineers have to do mm-hmm. to make that thing work? Like, you would not be able to compete with the rest of the players if you had to engage with Fortnite for what it really was. Yeah. Right? And so when you have that understanding, then you're no longer as traumatized by the fact that what you see is truly not what's actually there. It is an hallucination, and a lot of it is dependent on how many people around you see the same hallucination, and then all of you guys can conventionally call that hallucination XYZ thing. Mm-hmm. Right? Which is one of the interesting things about the phenomenon, is that you'll have people in a crowd, there'll be 100 people in the crowd, 85 people will see it and not hear anything, and then the other 15 will hear something and not see anything. So it's weird. To rely on our senses, our sense data, to get us to reality is obviously faulty on a bunch of different directions. But then the question would then be, well, then how in the world could we ever ascertain what reality is? Yeah. And in my view, the only answer to that is somebody from outside has to tell you what reality is mm-hmm. in order for you to then get any hope. So I call that a revelational epistemology, mm-hmm. where it's that God speaking to us is necessary for us to function in this world, because of the fact that our physical systems of sense data obviously they're not it. Yeah. But anyway, this song to me was this guy contending with that philosophical, contradiction.
I was listening to a song today. I won't even tell you guys what it is. You'd be so bored with the song. You'd be like, why would anybody listen to this? Already, it was Jason Upton, Holy Spirit, or Father, Son, Holy Spirit, if you're interested. But it's definitely not this channel's fancy for sure. But anyway, as I was listening to this song, I got this thought in my head, and then I started thinking about thoughts, and I was like, thoughts are weird because they just come out of nowhere, seemingly. Sometimes you can say, oh, it's because I heard or saw this thing, and then that's where the thought kind of generated from. But there are some thoughts that kind of come out of nowhere. And then there are some thoughts, most of us are like, oh, telepathic discussion would be pretty cool. But then you get these random thoughts, and sometimes they're accusatory. Sometimes like, I mean, you're such a blah, 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 you this or that, or you should, sometimes they can be like really destructive. You see like oncoming traffic, you drive into the traffic, or, like, it's like, where are these coming from? Because you weren't necessarily thinking like that before they came. And I thought, well, when we write something or books, those are just like written down thoughts. And if somebody comes up to you and keeps passing you pamphlets with random thoughts, you're not going to believe every pamphlet that gets passed you. You're going to weigh it out. But sometimes with our thoughts, we don't even know where they came from. We know sometimes they're accusatory, or maybe we don't take the time to actually think, wait a minute, why did that thought just call me you? You this. What? Is that my thought then? Where is that thought coming from? Who's the voice behind that thought? And so I thought, wow, that's just so crazy how all of us are walking around with getting pelted by these thoughts without questioning them to say, I don't even know if I want to hear your voice anymore. And I was like, we have to get wise, where we recognize the voice that we should hear, which is obviously, I'm a Christian, so I'm going to say that's the voice of our Father. That's the voice of God. And then we recognize that there are other voices that are out to destroy us. And those voices, we need to be quick to say, get the fuck out of here. I'm not listening to that thought, because that didn't originate from my Father. And all that's going to do is bring me to destruction. I was talking to my 4-year-old today, and he wanted to... Tony in this bitch. What's up, Tony? Hey, what's up?
Tony the Lone Rider Smith in this bitch. One of the premier DJs in the village. You know what it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. We have these bath paints, and he really wanted to do these bath paints. And his sister said, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z thing. When I come back, I'll do the bath paints with you. So he starts bawling his eyes out. And then I start talking to him about it. I'm like, why are you crying? Anyway, we figure out that he didn't like the idea of having to wait. So he was pretty upset about that. Well, we talked through the whole thing. And I could tell at the end of the discussion that he was feeling a bit better about it, because he did realize it was a little bit irrational to cry about something that he just had to be a little bit patient for. And so... he's doing this because I can see like the corners of his mouth want to go up, but he's like holding it down. And I was like, you feel like smiling right now. And he was like holding it even more. And I'm like, honey, I said, you feel like smiling? And he said, yeah, but I like to be mad. And so I was like, this is so interesting, because he's only 4 years old. But I was explaining to him that when you keep practicing that, as you get older, eventually you almost kind of get stuck in mad. And then you don't have the corners of your mouth trying to come back up and be happy. Like, you're stuck in that. So I'm like, if you feel like being happy, that's God. He's trying to help you, like, go toward being happy. And so he did. He kind of came out of it and went about his day. Even though he realized he lost the opportunity to do the paints tonight, he's going to have to wait till tomorrow. But I don't know. Sometimes when you have kids and you're talking to them about stuff, like, you want the best for them. So you're giving them the best advice that you have, but then you stop and think like, wait, how come I didn't take that advice for myself? Because I did stay stuck in X, Y, and Z mode or whatever. But anyway, I guess the lesson that I was just trying to say, or the thing that I was looking at today, was just like, question those voices and don't just accept all of them, because we don't even know like what they all are and where they're all coming from.
Yeah, so, this is one of the very... I'm always saying that secularism has had so many like unforeseen detriments to it. This is one of them.
Yep.
Because now what ends up happening is, if you hear a voice, now it's, well, you're crazy. Mm-hmm. Because we know that there's no other world. We know that there are no entities that do not have physical bodies that can communicate with you. After all, we're materialists. We don't believe in anything that's not physical, although... from a scientific perspective, I don't see how that works, because you have to assume that the laws of logic are real so that you can have a scientific method. And so you have an enterprise that claims materialism that is foundationally built on metaphysics. And the metaphysic you use to create the, quote, scientific method, somehow we're supposed to ignore the fact that it wasn't a physicalist methodology that gave you the scientific method. It was completely, especially if you're talking about Francis Bacon, that was a Christian enterprise. But if you say that there's no such thing as certainty or that certainty is obsolete, then you can't have a scientific method by definition. Mm-hmm. And then the question becomes, well, wait a second. If we're having a jihad over the blue and black dress and the white and gold dress, a lot of people, like, for example, the age of the earth, the universe, a lot of it has to do with our perceptions of color. If you know anything about redshift or blue shift, etc., right? So if the 14.6 billion number was partly influenced by our perceptions of color, that should tell you that secularism ain't it. That secularism as an enterprise can only get us so far. But it's a materialist worldview that necessitates metaphysics for it to work, but then denies metaphysical realities at the same time. So I just think it's a really big challenge that modern secular. That's why what's his face just came out and said he's a cultural Christian. Richard Dawkins, one of the four horsemen of the atheist apocalypse.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a cultural. He basically says that Christianity is much better for the world. It's much better for the world than people
for the
thought.
culture.
Yeah, but he made all his millions by denouncing Christianity. But then he looks at the world. He's like, Christianity is not that bad.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say one more thing. I know, maybe I'm getting a little bit preachy, but you know what? This is a side of me you guys have not really seen. This is me full stop. This is as I am. But maybe this is why people call me Judjo. I don't know. The other thing too is with those voices, I've been really finding any Bible verses that are memorized to be really, really helpful. Because, so let's say there's a negative thought that comes in and it's an accusatory thought and it's like, you're X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 whatever. I keep going back to that one verse. It's Genesis 1:26 that says that we're all, both male and female, are made in the image and likeness of God. This is an ancient Near Eastern text, which if you know anything about the ancient Near East, women were not elevated to the same position as men. But here you have, at the very beginning, God starts it just sounds like something that, if a God created these beings and he made them all equal, that he would want that known right from the beginning. And so that to me is anytime I get this thought that's comes out from out of nowhere and it just comes at me and it's accusing me of being something other than that, or it doesn't you can recognize that you're a shitty person and be like, okay, I shouldn't have done this, and this. But then at that point, I turn away from the you're made in the image and likeness of God, and I look to Jesus on the cross, and I'm like, I got a cross there for that. So I'm literally stuck in between made in the image and likeness of God and Jesus' crucifixion on the cross that makes me right with God. And I'm such in a good place right there, stuck in the middle. So although it protects you on all the sides from all these thoughts that just want to run your life. Anyway, that's
Yeah, and this was a major kind of fascinating cultural moment where people were talking about people that don't have internal dialogue.
I know. I can't believe that's true.
Hey,
does anybody here not have internal dialogue?
It was such a strange moment for everybody. We're like, wait, what? Because somebody shot a
happens?
YouTube video. They're like, people hear things in their head. And it was funny because I was looking at them talk about it, and they have never had internal dialogue in their life.
That must be weird to them.
So they're like, there are these people, and they say they hear things in their head. And the guy's like, what? No. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny because I'm looking at the comment section, and the comment section was like, yo, y'all are lying. There's no way, blah, 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 blah. And I was just looking at it. I'm like, human beings are so hilarious.
So they don't think
because
about
these
stuff?
two don't have internal dialogue, that means none of us do, and all of us are crazy for hearing shit in our head that really isn't there. And quite frankly, from a materialist perspective, they're right. They're absolutely right from a materialist perspective. What do you mean you hear shit in your head? What does that mean?
Right.
What part of the brain controls that? The non-audible voices. Think about what you're saying. So it was fascinating because I was in the atheist chat at the time. They're like, really? You talk to God? Yep. And he says things back to you? Yep. Where do you hear this? In your head? Yep. Ha 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 ha. as if that's like miles away from other people saying that they heard their mother, their mom said something really hurtful to them fucking 20 years ago, and they say, I can still hear it.
Yeah.
Nobody says, well, your mother's been dead for 10 years.
Right.
What are you talking about? We understand what they're saying. Mm-hmm. They don't have to fill in all the blanks, right? Because all of us have a metaphysical assumption about what he's saying. Mm-hmm. But then all of a sudden when it comes to God and angels and things like that, now you're crazy, now you believe in stupidness and all the rest of it. So then God's like, okay, well, let's show up as aliens. Maybe they'll believe that. Oh.
Acceptable. Let's believe everything they say.
We don't know about you, sir, with the long fucking, very old, elderly looking kind of person. Okay, you're out there, creating shit just ex nihilo. We're not sure about you, but the aliens. Song gets a 9.8 from me. Later, Leah.
Yeah, I'd match it. It's
a 9.8 from me.
All right, you guys. Up next, we have a band you may have heard of before. It's Blood Ceremony, Powers of Darkness.
Powers of Darkness, dear listener. We'll see you on the other side of the break. SubhanAllah. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst.
DJ Ben's birthday stream. Blood Ceremony is up next. Our DJ says...
Hit like, villagers. Also, if you're watching us on Twitter and we see that you did a retweet of us, you will be put in a drawing for a free song. We continue.
Some more Blood Ceremony from the Old Ways Remain 2023 album. This is Powers of Darkness. Let's check it out.
All right, Powers of Darkness. Should be interesting considering the conversation we just had.
All right.
Powers of Darkness,
check
Blood Ceremony with the lyrics on the video. Let's do it, baby.
I once read that names which begin with the letter S are the names of snakes.
This is an official song.
When the light begins to pale, see the dance of the threshers wail. We sure had a lovely time. Lately, it comes in waves, it comes inside. Its ebb and flow is like a water tide. Now the sky is falling, something from the voice calling, whispering a promise of strange delights. Powers of darkness rise. Let the night come alive. Powers of darkness rise. Raise your hands to your mother's side.
It's like Ghost. so that was obviously influenced by Ghost,
That's what I thought too.
right?
I
Like-
thought 100%. I'm like, this is a
That's-
female
that's-
ghost.
That's Ghost thing, right? Where you,
Sort of dark but happy, sort of like.
it's like the 60s type music, but like you're singing to Satan, so it doesn't, you don't really catch what's going on.
I was looking for Ghosty, but
Yeah, he's looking for Ghosty.
I don't know where he went. He's on vacation, I guess. No, here he is.
This sounds like something witches would listen to. Yeah, there goes Ghosty. Yeah, yeah.
So cute.
This was Ghost, man. Like that was.
Oh my gosh, you know what's so cute? Our kids were like messing around on Etsy, I guess, looking for different things, and they came across these
Oh, yeah.
plushies, yeah. And they were like, "Hey, doesn't that kind of look like that thing you guys have in your, when you guys stream?" I said, "Oh yeah, that's him. That's them." It's
That's
like
them.
I can't remember the Dark Lord Emporium. I can't remember what the name of the crew is, but he makes some really cool little characters.
All right,
Anyway.
guys, here we go. Powers. We're talking about the powers of darkness arising.
Yeah, those. Oh, okay. All right.
What?
Well, sometimes I like overthink stuff probably, and I assume that the people that are in the music video are the actual vocalists, and so they just seemed so young. But now I see that no, the band members are not. That's not the children that were in the videos.
All right.
When the light begins to pale, see the dance of the threshers fail. We've all had a lovely time lately. Is this it?
Yeah. I don't understand what they're saying. The dance of the threshers flail. What is the dance of the thresher? Is that like?
I mean, I thought of a threshing floor.
farm stuff.
Yeah, that's when they beat the seeds.
Yeah,
to get
this
the...
has got to be about like the Black Plague period, right? Ghost is a band that like this is what they do. Like it sounds like the 60s, like 60s love songs, but the entire time he's talking to Shaitan.
Right.
So
That's really, Steve. During the song, I could see my 72-year-old mother dancing when I was a small child. That's cute. That's really cute.
Okay. We sure had a lovely time lately. So when the dance of the threshers flail, so I think what's happening there is probably there's some sort of famine that's happening.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, because maybe it's the way of saying that the harvest was not very good this year.
Okay.
It comes in waves, it comes inside, it ebbs and flows like a lunar tide. Now the sky is falling. Something from the void is calling, whispering a promise of strange delights.
This is what I mean. Watch those voices.
Powers of darkness, rise! Let the night come alive. Powers of darkness, raise your hands to the mother of sighs. Both Ghost and Blood Ceremony formed in 2006. So Neil is saying they came up like almost literally at the same time. So they both had the same
weird.
idea at the same time, I think is Neil's point.
That's wild. Okay.
I think.
But I mean, I definitely thought that immediately when we started it. I was like, excuse me.
Whispering to the Mother of Sighs. That's really an interesting. I've never heard of the Mother of Sighs. I don't know if that's a real character or if
Raise
it's...
your hands to the mother of sighs.
I don't know, like, but that's a really interesting...
Can I just Google it?
Term.
I know we
Mother
don't do
of
that.
Sighs. That's a really, really interesting term.
Mater Saporium, or the Mother of Sighs, is one of the three ancient witches or mothers in the Dario Argentine's Three Mothers trilogy. The other two are...
Mater Lacrimum, or the Mother of Tears, and Mater Tenebrabrium, or the Mother of Darkness.
The three witches have powerful magic that
Okay.
allows them to
So the
manipulate
Mother
world
of
events to
Sighs,
kill anyone.
Tears, and Darkness. So there's
Okay.
three sisters, they're witches, and one of them is called the Mother of Sighs, and there's two other mothers. So this is probably a concept record. We'd probably, if you listen to this record all the way through, you'd probably run into the other two mothers as well.
They can manipulate world events, kill anyone who discovers their whereabouts, and rule the world. Okay, wow. Raise your hands to the Mother of Sighs, okay?
And then he talks about Persephone. Persephone was the girl that was
Isn't that a
kept.
flower?
She was kept underground by Hades, right? She had to
The
live,
flower queen. Oh.
She had to live. She had to live underground with
Right.
Hades, and then the flowers would come up. It's basically poor Persephone. She's down there with
Oh,
Hades.
yeah, that's right.
Right.
I forgot about that.
And then she was with the Merovingian in the Matrix. In the Matrix Part 2,
Mm-hmm.
she was also the Merovingian's girlfriend. And he was down in Hades, basically, and she was his girlfriend in Hades. Remember they had that club scene when he had to go...
I remember the club scene.
When they went down into the club or whatever.
But I only remember Trinity and... What's his face?
Remember there was a girl that he kissed? She said she wouldn't give it to him unless he kissed her, and then it was like this big whole thing. Yeah, so her name was Persephone. So they had to go down into the nightclub, which is basically going down into Hades, right? And then, when you find this girl is Persephone, blah. So
I love your mind.
The Matrix.
Do you think everybody got that from? No, not everybody's putting that together. It was just a club scene, right? In part of the story, or do you think everybody was like, "Oh, the underworld, Persephone"?
Her name is Persephone. He's in the underworld. I mean, it seemed pretty
obvious to you. All right.
She's a daughter of Demeter. Yeah.
For Winter's Thaw, her coming's just the thing. Well, she hasn't been on time lately. Okay, so they're kind of stuck in a freeze.
Well, remember, these people, it looks like they're in an agrarian culture, and if in an agrarian culture, you're held hostage by the weather. So if you look up, remember in verse 1 was talking about how the threshers, dancers flailed. Mm-hmm. And then we were speculating, okay.
Failed, yeah. It failed. Well, you guys, flail. Maine.
It says flail, not
literally,
fail.
We just had a big, giant winter storm. It is April. Bro, April. Anyway, I'm just glad that we're not, we can still go to the grocery store and buy our vegetables. We don't have to wait for the winter to thaw.
Yeah, I mean, so it looks like it's a song. It's a song there. The end is drawing ever nigh. Without light, life's easy on the eyes. Without light, life's not easy on the eyes. Take your leave. Line. Find us where the shadows meet, and what awaits us on the other side. I think that this is probably like some sort of horrible famine, and this is how we're going to deal with it. We're just going to sing until everybody dies. Is what it looks like.
But it says with this is what always confuses me, because it always kind of seems like there's a contradiction. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. The end is ever drawing nigh. Without light, life's not easy on the eyes. So it seems like you need to have some light to make life easier. Find us where the shadows meet. Who waits on the other side? Powers of darkness, end of times, endless night. Power of darkness rise. You just said we need the light to make life good. And now you're saying powers of darkness rise? Raise your hands to the mother of sighs. I don't think so. I don't think I want to raise my hands to her. I don't think that she sounds like a very nice lady.
Yeah, but these are like her foot soldiers and stuff. Shout out to Jalili, Sarush Jalili. Long live the UK!
What the night come alive. Yeah, I mean, for me, sonically, like, I did kind of get that, like, ghost vibe to it, for sure, like a female ghost vibe. I actually like, for the most part, I've liked a lot of the ghost songs. I guess there was something about this one, maybe it was the style of the vocals, or the slowness, I'm not really sure.
Some of these... says, Persephone the Fire Queen, for winter's thaw, her coming's just the thing. Well, she hasn't been on time lately. She hasn't been on time lately. I think the Persephone's flowers are supposed to indicate that spring is on the way.
Spring is here. Winter's gone.
So...
winter's holding its
That
grip,
goes with verse 1.
Yeah.
The wheat harvesters. So this looks like an extended winter, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's what created the famine. And now we're all talking about, dying. Yeah. Which, I mean... that's one of the things about ghosts. They did something about I think it was the Black Plague or the bubonic plague or whatever. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is really nefarious to have these wonderful, little melodies, but you're talking about hailing Satan and all this and that. But then it was like, yeah, what did you think Ring Around the Rosie was, man? Like, when you're in a situation with a giant epidemic like the Black Plague, like the bubonic plague, or... what those poor Ukrainians have to do. The Holodomor, I don't think I'm saying it correctly, where basically the Russians guaranteed the starvation of these people, and so these people watch like thousands and thousands of their kids just die in, the worst way possible. Those Ukrainians. So, there's just, it's just, when you see all this stuff, and you see how, like, those people would have had to come up with some sort of way to lessen the blow. And I could see I could see realistically a bunch of ironic songs that are talking about death or whatever, being sung to children, because it's kind of like, all right, we got to get ourselves in the mindset here.
Yeah.
We're probably going to lose one of these kids.
Yep.
One of these kids is probably going to lose us. So we're going to start doing this right now. Life is just a dream. Here we go. Because there's no, in a house of like 8-9 people, one of us is going to die early, right? Like that would have been the mindset. And so it's interesting, like when people see like how spooky the, Ring Around the Rosie and all the rest of it is. And it's like, that's a children's song.
Well,
but what are they saying?
they're talking about the death.
Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Pocket full of posies because that covered the stench.
Yeah, like
it is interesting because that group of people could look at us and think we're the creepy ones because essentially we take whatever is wrong and we just do this.
Right. Right.
So at least they were kind of facing it.
Yeah, they were facing it directly. And that's what I'm saying. And we talked about this earlier. It's like back in the day, I agree, it was not communicated in the best way, but like walk it off type of thing. But back in the day, like it was just assumed, like if you had a problem or an issue or something, like facing it head on was the way to deal with it. Now it's if you have a problem, it's society's responsibility to make you feel good so that you can recover. Mm-hmm. But back then it wasn't. I mean, back then people were like, listen, somebody in this household is going to die. And so I could see, all right, we're going to sing this to kids, and we're going to have the kids talk about death and things like that and do it in a nice little circle. And because it's better to look death in the face and sing about it than to be terrified about it and act like it's not going to happen to you.
Yeah. And sometimes knowing, like some people are more like systematically minded. Like if you know what is going to happen, then it's a little bit easier as the process takes its course. So if the song shows you, okay, you have an understanding that if somebody gets a ring around a red dot on their skin, that's a sign that they have it. Right. Ring around the rosies, pocket full of posies, then ashes, ashes, we all fall down. So that I from what I understand, the ashes, ashes, that they had to burn the bodies because of the plague. They had to eliminate the plague.
It was a song about the bubonic plague, Jet. It's Ring Around the Rosie, Pocket Full of Posies, Ashes, Ashes, we all fall down. I don't know if she even played that as a kid.
Oh, right. And then all us kids would fall onto the ground.
She's like, let's ring around the rosie. So everybody holds hands, and then you kind of go in a circle.
Ring around the rosy,
do a circle and a jump.
Full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. And then we'd all collapse onto the ground.
And you drop down.
But we were singing these songs on the regular as kids.
It was just fun.
Had no idea what the song meant. And then eventually you get to a point where like where your friends start showing you stuff. They're like, hey, well, what about this? What about that? Well, they started showing you like, hey, this is what this song is about. Like we're singing this like whatever.
Right.
But maybe what I was thinking is maybe like if you saw the marks showing up on your family members, now you know if Pocket Full of Posies is next and then Ashes, Ashes is coming. So there is coming a day where we're going to burn that person. So it kind of like preps your mind for what's going to be coming. I don't know if that's why they were I have no idea. It's kind of...
That psychology makes absolute sense.
I mean, if you ever look at the original Disney stories, like they're dark as fuck. Like for instance, the
Grimm's Brothers tales.
Yeah. Like those stories, they're not like like Cinderella with the stepsister trying to shove their feet into the shoes. Like in the original, they friggin' cut their toes off and their blood is dripping out of the shoes so they can fit their foot in there. Like they're like it was the Dark Ages. Oh, I'm gonna hold on that one, but boy, didn't I have something to say. You're making it difficult, Joe. You're making it real difficult. Neil, I don't remember Red Riding Hood, but I'm sure it's
What do you mean?
gruesome.
You didn't remember Little Red Riding Hood?
Well, yeah, but I'm sure that there's a more gruesome version of that one. Probably she gets gobbled up.
I'm gonna do a little segment called Nursery Rhymes for Millennials. I'm gonna read you guys all these nursery stories.
We're gonna explain it to you.
That you guys, it's so crazy to me to watch Jet. Like, what? What is Ring Around the Rosie?
You know what I was thinking? What do you guys think? Like, let me just like jump in here and all of this like seriousness. What do you guys think about if one of the nights during the week, if we did a stream that was like the best of humanity or something, and I put a post up on Patreon and you can drop links in that post of videos, short ones, you know, like we're talking like a minute or whatever, like a minute or less of just like human beings like being good, like doing stuff that's like encouraging and stuff that kind of like feel good shit. And then we just kind of react to that for a little bit on a certain night, so we get some positivity into our lives. Let me know what you guys think about that. You can let us know in the chat here.
I look at the nursery rhymes as a very positive thing, because it's like you have to face it.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I just, you know.
What?
I'm distracted. I mean, obviously. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying about the nursery rhyme thing. I'm just, like, I just had that.
Well, yeah, no, I would love to react to some positive vibes as well. Seriously.
Yeah, like the video I showed you last night where people were just, like, helping each other.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt, like, happier. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, it's, you know.
Yeah, I'm with it.
But it would be cool because we don't know what it's going to be, and we get to do an authentic reaction.
What would you give this song?
I mean, I didn't really like it. You know, it was just, you know, I didn't really like it. See, part of the reason that I like Ghost is because musically, I like what they do in the background with the music. So, I don't know. This is probably I'll give this one a 6.8. Okay, you guys, be looking out for that post on Patreon for you to add the links to.
I haven't heard a Ghost song in a long time. So, it seems to me that they've created a little bit of a subgenre. Let's see if there's 2 or 3 other bands that come out with this kind of style. I like those contradictory ideas, though. Because when people talk about like the traditional life and things like that, they're not really talking about tradition. They're talking about a specific snapshot in Americana between the 50s and like the first 2 years of the 60s. Like the little snapshot of the you know, car and the fence and the pet and the 2 kids and the white lady, and she's in an apron and she's got that, you know, whatever that hairstyle is, and the guy comes home at 5:30, you know, and
goes into the den.
So that's a specific post World War II kind of existence. That little snapshot of time is what these people are talking about as, quote, traditional, right? Like, so like, it's like, one, it's pretty recent. It's pretty approximate. Like, there's still people alive from that time period. And 2, it's like, it only lasted for about 11 years. Like, that kind of America was only around for like literally a decade.
Do you think that had anything to do with them returning from the war? Like, because the systematic nature of the army, the military?
That was the entire point.
And the women trying to create an environment that, you know, the clean, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, the thing that happened was the dudes came back home. They wanted their jobs back. The girls had to go back and work. And then the girls were like, you know what?
Right, Steve, leave it to Beaver.
They did it for about 10 years, and they're like, you know what? Nah.
Let's burn our bras!
Nah.
Oh, man.
The women were like, nah, we're going to work. And of course, all the mostly white male CEOs was like, that's right, girl. Fight for don't let the men tell you what to do.
Yep.
Come work for me.
Yep. And let me tell you what to do.
No, you don't want no man to tell you what to do. Come over here to come here where the CEO will tell you what to do. He'll tell you what to wear. He'll tell you when to go to bed, all that stuff. And you're gonna
ask him to use the bathroom.
And you are gonna obey that man because you're a feminist. All right, 9.
It's your choice, though. It's your choice.
9.4.
6.8.
Oh my gosh! All right. Well, if there are still 8 people left in this little thingamajig, that would be great. I'm seeing a 57 count here, but I'm only seeing like 11 likes. So if we don't do something about that by the time the commercial's coming, I don't know what to do.
Benji's birthday is gonna get shortened.
Vin out.
Sori out.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener.
Sylosis Behind the Sun for DJ Ben's birthday. He says, Monolith... Oh, what's the timestamp? 208. Monolith is an album that doesn't get talked about much when bringing up Sylosis. Have a listen.
209.
Well, we wanted to read the thing, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 209. 209 it is. Let's go. Let's check it out.
No, go ahead. Read it now.
I did.
So that's all they said?
Yeah, that's all. That's what he said.
All right, reread it again.
Monolith is an album that doesn't get talked about much when bringing up Sylosis. Have a listen. This is Sylosis Behind the Sun from the Monolith 2012 album. Let's check it out.
Do it, dear listener, now.
When you're so calm
He doesn't belong to the world. The
world belongs to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of people walking around in the world with that mentality.
Well, I think there's a positive way and a negative way you can do that.
Lemon can access frozen monies held in banks because they're not considered evil anymore. Yeah, that's a bureaucratic title there, being designated as terrorists. In years to come, everything will crumble within your palms.
It's all an illusion. How could you be so blind?
The skies will conspire. In years to come, the skies will conspire against you.
So say farewell to light, to the beacon that shines. It has left you behind.
I've seen the sun burn out beyond its years. In years to come, everyone will turn on you within an instant. You're on your own. How could you have been so blind? They will leave you behind.
They will leave it with you.
Yeah, I mean, how do I? I just think people have to understand, like, if you ever occupy a hero's position, you have to understand that there is always jealousy mixed in with that kind of admiration. And so it's everyone will turn on you, blah blah blah. I don't know if literally everybody will turn on you, but you know, human beings, all of us, they're weak, man. So even if people that like wanted to support you and want to get your back, sometimes, you know, there's a story in the Bible about, you know, David, the guy who killed Goliath, that guy. Well, he has a son. I'm not going to go into the big story, but long story short, David and the few folks loyal to David had to like hightail it out of there and get out of Dodge. And so all the odds were stacked against them. And so David escapes with his life, and then the loyalists around him go back. Once they secure David, they go back out and find this dude and kill him. And David now is able to return back to his kingdom and his glory. And when he came back, he had this dude named Mephibosheth. Now Mephibosheth was a disabled individual. Like literally he was disabled. He was not able to, he was basically paralyzed from the waist down.
He was the son of the previous king.
So David says, "Why don't you come with me, Mephibosheth?" And Mephibosheth said, "My lord the king is like God, like the angel of God to your servant, to me. I would have went with you, but I had nobody to carry me." In other words, he would have went with David, but due to his weakness, and now in this particular situation, his physical malady, he was not able to be next to David in his darkest moment. And so he said, "Why didn't you come with me?" And Mephibosheth said, "How was I going to do that? Who's somebody going to carry me?" And David basically said, "Yeah, I get it." And, you know, they squashed whatever, you know, beef they had, and they kept it moving. And that to me is like, on my good days, that's how I handle that shit. Like, your friends, you know, or people in your life or your family, like, they wanted to help you, I'm sure. But, you know, sometimes you just have to account for the fact that, you know, they've got human weakness just like everybody else.
That story is kind of echoed when Jesus, before he goes to the cross, when he's in the Garden of Gethsemane. It says, "Then Jesus went with them to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, 'Sit here while I go over there and pray.' And taking with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, 'My soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch with me.' And going a little farther, he fell on his face and he prayed, saying, 'My Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will.' And he came to the disciples and found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, 'So you couldn't watch with me even for 1 hour? Watch and pray that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.'"
Yeah, and so I've had Jesus say that to me a lot of times too. And so if you can look at this and be like, yo, this dude is really paranoid right now. The skies will conspire against you. The sky will as well. Say farewell to the beacon that shines. It has left you behind. I've seen the sun burn out beyond its years. That's a crazy line right there. I've seen the sun burn out beyond its years. And that's one of the weird dichotomies of being one of those people. Being one of the being a Christ figure is that you will get burnt out because people... Look, man, I don't look at it as people are users. I look at it as people are... Everybody's wounded, man. Everybody's hurt. And so sometimes you run into somebody that... Whatever the vibe is, the way they communicate, whatever, or the way that they talk about God, that makes that pain go away or gives them hope that, hey, I don't know, maybe I can't. So once a person has an experience with a person, they're going to jump on that person. And then other people are going to jump on that person, and then you are eventually going to get burned out for sure. So that's one of the weird dichotomies. I always bring up Justin Bieber because he's the most approximate one, right? He got famous because somebody picked up his YouTube channel. Like, he's $500 million because he shot a video on YouTube when he was like 9 years old, right? And so it's like, whoa, man, this kid, he's got it made. And then the media, the same media apparatus that made him a millionaire is the same media apparatus that turned up and crucified him and made fun of him and mocked him, and he almost lost his life on multiple occasions and all the rest of it. And you see people shit talking this dude when it was like the same thing with Britney Spears and all these like the same media apparatus that tells us this is the ideal, this is what you want, blah blah blah, will also turn on those same people. Because now they found somebody else. So now they found somebody else to platform, so we don't need you anymore. So instead of just ignoring you and going to the next guy, no, we got to crucify you to sell, newspapers and all the rest of it. So, there were some phrases that I would hear all the time when I was in the middle of all that shit, and it was like, a lot of people, it was at the end of John chapter 2. All these people were coming to Jesus, and then he said, and it says in John chapter 2, but he would not entrust himself to any of them.
Yep.
Why? Because he knew what was in man.
Yep.
So when you're that type of person, like I'd always hear that people always come up to me, oh, Vin, blah, 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 you saved my life. And I'd be like, oh, that's cool, man. But I'd never entrust myself to them.
Yeah.
Not because I think they're horrible people or I'm better than them, but just to say, at the end of the day, they're human beings. And human beings have weaknesses. Mm-hmm. So you just have to understand that. And so, hell no, I'm not gonna put my trust in. There's always gonna be a wall between me and people, and I'm not sure if it's the best way to handle it. But I will say, I don't know. When I feel crossed by a person, I don't spend a lot of time investing any emotional capital into it. It's just a lot easier for me to say, all right, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's a really interesting thing.
I didn't realize this until this literal moment. But you've had a lot of those experiences where people will kind of exalt you and then crucify you after. I always had the experience where I was already they already crucified me, and then they'd come around and they'd be like, well, I've hated you for a long time. And,
well, you were on the girls' hate list because, for obvious reasons. I mean, just look at the camera.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I never knew that experience. The first time I had a similar experience to that was because I was in your vicinity, and so because you sung my praises, people accepted me in, and again, that was what was different about this channel was that I feel like that this channel accepted me into the metal community, and it wasn't because of you. I feel like you were here and I was here, and they took us both in.
Yeah.
And that was what was of a unique situation.
For sure.
That was something I had never experienced before. So thank you to you guys for being there for us. This channel is such a weird thing.
It's the craziest, most gigantic mystery in my life.
It's
honestly,
really, 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 yeah.
So strange to me. It's so strange to me. And not only like doing God's work, but just the relationships, the friendships, how good people are to us.
Yeah.
The genuine care that people have, you know.
Yeah.
You posted that thing, and it you know what I'm talking about. Where
Yeah.
like you're like, look at this. I got to go to my atheist friends to get good spiritual feedback.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
it was
posted.
true.
It was my Easter post. And I was just like honest, like basically, I'm also a shitty person, you know. And I posted it, you know, on my metal side channel, like for you guys. And then I also posted it on my other, you know, like basically where my friends and family that I've grown up with, which is mostly all Christians. So you'd think that it would have gotten a little bit of traction because it was, you know, honoring Christ in it. But really, the only person that like literally got one thumbs up, and it was by a person that's not even a Christian. They're like Vrindavan. It's just interesting. And then like I
That's right. That's the Hindu girl.
yeah. So then I switch over and I check, you know, my Facebook with you guys, and like people came with some poetry and some different things. Like I was just really moved by. I was like, this is so insane. Like I don't like know all of you guys' stories personally, and like who has any sort of religious. It seemed to me that it's like, okay, so this is a predominantly atheist space, and yet people are still able to like recognize the beauty of what somebody is saying.
Completely
exaltation of
open-minded
Christ is so crazy.
and like you are like the epitome of what should not be embraced by the metal world.
Like, this doesn't explain you guys. This is not what I heard about atheists.
Yeah. Like metal elitists, like that should have been the posture. But
Yeah.
Instead, the metal community comes and embraces you like a church would. It's insane.
Or like a church should. Yeah.
It's insane.
Very weird.
You'll have. It's strange.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's weird.
And like I said, like
it's not something that I would have ever anticipated. For sure. I mean, there were people that were like, "Stop talking about God," blah blah blah. I was like, "Man, get out of here, bro."
Yeah. But they didn't stick around. We have a lot of people that have, you know, stuck around and they're like,
people were like, "That's their thing. Let them do it."
People will say like, "Look, I don't believe like you guys believe, but you're so cool." You know what I mean? Like, so you don't have to believe everything that we believe to stick around or whatever. But yeah, it's a cool environment. I love being with you guys, and I don't know.
I've seen the sun.
Also, wait, just side note. If I've gotten friend requests on my Facebook, if you want to friend request me, just send me a message and then tell me who you are, because I'm not accepting friend requests from people I don't even really know. And I know there's a lot of people that watch our channel, but you may know me, but I don't know you. So just explain yourself, because I'm not going to just take random friend requests. But I'm interested in the people who are, you know, who've been around and, you know, have actually something legitimate there.
What do you give the song?
I liked this one a lot, and I liked where our conversation sort of went. This is a good 9.4 for me.
You should read Marcus Aurelius's book. Which book? Which one? I'm a fan of Aurelius. I'm not gonna lie to you. Mm-hmm. I went through this little Stoic thing for like 2 weeks.
So did I.
And then I thought to myself, I'm such an extreme personality that Soraya's probably not gonna like it. Because I was like, I could really, really get into this, but the cost there's a cost to this peace that Stoicism gives you, which is that you cannot really enjoy the things you enjoy as much if you follow those principles. And that's I'm not mature enough yet to where that kind of sacrifice seems to be worth it at this point. So that's where I am with Stoicism.
I got into it too for probably about a month, I would say. But then it was really cool at first, because I think that I felt like I was always... There's a Bible verse that says, like, you know, like, in your anger don't sin, or the fool gives full vent to his wrath. And those were, like, I felt like that's the situation I kept finding myself in. Like, every time I got frustrated, it was almost like just full vent. And everybody's full vent is going to look differently. Like, I took a barbecue sauce out of the fridge, and there was a big container of ice water in front of it that was, like, screwed shut. And I thought, I'm going to be able to get that out of there, no problem, with one hand, because I didn't want to set Vinny's dinner down. I just, I was trying to cut some corners. I pulled the barbecue sauce, and this entire thing fell out, and, like, my brain froze, and I didn't move my foot, and it, like, literally smashed one singular toe, and it immediately started bruising, and I felt so much anger and rage that I wanted to start cursing, like, even just like, but I was like, I thought in that moment, I'm like, okay, full vent to me right now is to say a couple of curse words, whether out loud or in my head, and I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna go full vent. And so I didn't say the curse words. I still felt very frustrated, but like I felt like I gained some self-control in doing that. So I did think like the stoicism stuff is helpful where it lined up with the Bible verses that I knew, but then there were other parts where I felt like, yeah, that's going to impede me on that. It's going to impede me on that. So like I felt like it was helpful for like a certain space, but overall, like I don't think it's a philosophy I want to adopt for my entire life. But anyway, yeah, 9.4, I think, or did I give it a 9.6? I'm gonna go with a 9.5.
All right. 9.3.
All right, you guys, we're gonna
got
be right
more
back.
heavy metal craziness for you losers.
Opeth, Vinny's favorite band.
I don't know if you've heard of this
all time.
band. There's a band called Opeth. Timestamp. We shall see you beautiful people on the
Franco,
other side
you
of the
get
break.
it.
We're at 1440p, dear listener. 1440p.
We'll see you at the end of the break.
See you on the commercial side, bitches. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull
You
that off.
can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee, a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Buy merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We're coming at you in 1440p, bitches.
Yes, we are.
Just one of the many other reasons why this channel is superior to every other channel on YouTube.
Oh, this is kind of creepy. I was adding in the Ring Around the Rosie characters, but when I removed the background, they got kind of like ghostly. I think I'm going to leave them like that.
Yeah, do it. That's a good little double entendre there.
Yes, sir. Okay. Up next on our birthday beatdown is Opeth the Leper Affinity. Wait, did I get a timestamp? 2:31. Okay. This is what DJ Ben has to say. Next up is the opening track off of Opeth's Black Water Park, The Leper Affinity. The second song on this album, Bleak, was Vin and Sori's second reaction to Opeth. It's taken a long time to come back to this album. They did the title track and hated it. But here we are once again. The Opeth, The Leper Affinity, Blackwater Park 2001 album. Let's check it out.
All right, here we go. We're doing the whole record?
No.
That Shylmagoghnar whatever thing is, you see that there, Missy? You see that there?
Oh, it's the official video.
All right, Opeth. Here we go, guys.
Might get you blocked.
The Leper
Benji.
Affinity. Here we go. I'm going to bring it to the forefront because they got lyrics. Okay.
Wait.
song. You seem very...
I love their piano stuff. Like, the beginning and ending of the songs, I just really... I could just listen to that piano for hours. That style of playing.
Yeah. What is that, like jazz or something like that?
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I gotta have Archero here. Archero knows what the thing is. He's like, you're a fan of... I think it's jazz. I'm not sure. But it's obviously undeniably amazing music at the end.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Okay, so were you following along with the lyrics or what?
Not really, to be honest with you. I did on some of it, like the bridge. Lost our days of spring, you sighed and let me in. Keep the beast inside, shackled within my hide. Screaming out too late, losing to my hate. Grew together with your skin and paced the trails of sin. Like, that bridge was crazy, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's start at the beginning because, I was not always watching those lyrics. We entered winter once again, guys. It's April 6th, and we just had another big nor'easter here in Maine. So
I'm going to show you that picture from you.
I was like, wait, what the fuck?
From the backyard.
Yeah.
Such a disaster. This state is cursed. Go ahead.
Naked, freezing from my breath. What is this? Neath the lid, all limbs tucked away. This coffin is your abode from now.
Neath the lid, all limbs tucked
beneath.
away.
Yeah, what am I doing?
This coffin is yours from now and onwards.
Is your abode from now and onwards. And what is the coffin? Is it the coffin of winter? Like winter's...
it looks like winter is itself the coffin that you're stuck in. I don't
want to sound like super depressing here, but honestly, the state of Maine, winters are... They used to be different, like back in the day when, like, my parents were younger. There was a lot. I love the snow.
When we had climate change.
Yeah, I guess there was a lot of snowstorms. I mean, like, so much snow that they would have to put like a tennis ball on top of the antenna of their car, so that way you could see beyond the snowbanks if somebody was coming around the corner. It was so much snow. They would have so much snow around Christmas that you'd have to walk.
It's little
to church.
Things like that.
Yeah, but it's not like that anymore. It's like it's just enough snow to like make a mess, because then they throw like sand and salt everywhere, and so it just like turns into this like just gross mess, and the sky is gray. I don't like gray skies. It's a hard life here. Like it's dark and it's very wintry. So when they explain that we entered winter once again, naked, freezing from my breath, neath the lid of all limbs tucked away, this coffin of your that's this has become my experience.
Your body is mine to avail. So like, if this is just the winter, or just the outside talking to this person who got stuck in a snowstorm or whatever,
I just don't know if it's hate. That would be the
conversation.
Yeah, true, but I don't know. Lost are the days of spring. You sighed and let me in. Keep the beast inside, shackled with my hide. Screaming out too late, losing to my hate. I didn't know if the winter, like hate, is personified as winter.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how
Miami South Beach.
A person could somebody put the temperature in
No,
Miami?
we may end up in Florida at some point. Who knows?
Oh, Matheson. Yeah, just move to South Beach. Yeah, we'll get right on that. We'll do that tomorrow. Weirdos.
So do you think that...
Yeah, I think it's just winter is
hate is personified as winter?
Yeah, I think he's characterizing the winter as being, because it is cruel. I mean, there's no let up. It's not like the winter looks at you and goes, "Oh man, this guy's all shivering and shit. Maybe I should." You know what I'm saying? It's like unforgiving. It's cruel. Your body is mine to avail. Such a tragic sight you are.
You guys are gonna think this is an exaggeration. But on the really cold days when the wind blows, like literally you can get a brain freeze like you ate your ice cream too fast. But your face feels like it's freezing. Your skin, you can't move your mouth very good. It's weird,
your
bro.
Your face is literally freezing.
I mean, and imagine what it's like for this face. I have no beard to protect me.
Yeah.
You must catch a little warmth with this.
Well, actually what it does is it catches the moisture and freezes on it. So you have a little Christmas
are you serious?
tree. Yeah. And you have a little Christmas tree on your face. It's not It's not fun at all. It's
No,
disgusting,
no.
actually.
It's disgusting. Oh, yeah, like, and you're breathing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'm glad I don't have a beard. All right.
I am beyond death. Look, your body is mine to avail. Such a tragic sight. You are a slave under my creed, spurring me with those tears. This is what I'm saying. Like, the winter, like, it just doesn't care. Shout out to the big homie Kai. The winter's beautiful to Kai, but but Kai is like one with his environment.
And again, they probably get like a better amount of snow. And where Kai goes and takes those pictures, they're not throwing nasty salt and sand all over it and creating a big mess. So I get that. It's beautiful when you go into the into the woods like that and you just experience the quiet of a storm is like nothing you've ever heard before. Kind of weird, but it's really true. Like, the sound of silence is a real thing, and the sound of a peaceful silence, man, I used to love that. I'd go out into the backwoods there and just it was so calming.
Fever mirrored ghosts, nighttime consolations, cross the line, draw murder into art, sleep inside.
Where is that? Drive murder. Oh, there it is.
Good God, this guy can write his ass off. That, if I'm going with the idea that he's singing. He's personifying the environment itself, or he's anthropomorphizing the environment. When he talks about draw murder into art, it would be it would basically be when you see a beautiful snowfall, like when it's there and it's like untouched and it's so aesthetically pleasing.
So wonderful, yeah.
Underneath all that snow is a bunch of dead something.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And that snow has killed a bunch of somethings. Mm-hmm. But we're looking at it as artistic, right? It's like this, look at the beautiful snow. But it draws murder into art because the way the snow kills all these things is beautiful in the sense of, So I thought that was a crazy line. Like, if you're going to go with this, like where the environment itself, like, is some horrible killer that kills in a way that is aesthetically pleasing, that's kind of spooky. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's like a spooky idea. But
yeah, especially like, that show that we're watching, well, the one that you said, I'm so bored, and you turned it off.
Yeah.
Like, that the scene where they lost and everybody was frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look, it says, where did it go? There's something else that happened right.
By the way, babe, I love what you did here with the lyrics. This is very aesthetically pleasing.
In the wake of this relief, shivering, longing for more, insanity at its peak, love me to my death. Because when people are, they start losing their minds toward the end when they're
freezing to death.
About to freeze to death. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, shivering, longing for more, insanity at its peak, love me to my death. That's when then people start taking off their clothes.
I was
going to
say they take off their clothes, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they start sweating, so they think, oh, actually, my body's kicking into gear.
Yeah.
But, like, even people that are trained, I was reading the story of this guy that was like, he's trained, like, he knows what he's doing. He knows that you hit that point. And he said he could not believe, he survived. He said he could not believe, like, when he got to that point. I don't even know. He might have even taken his jacket off. But he said, like everything in him was telling him, take your jacket off. Even though he had the training and he knew he was going to get to that point. It was just incredible.
It says, I am beyond death midst a dreaming affinity, saving strength now, faint whispers, come erotic communion in its splendor. So, the communion there, I think, is your own death, because when those people talk about it, they just talk about it like, oh man, I just want to go to sleep, I want to take a nap, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And so there's a sort of, erotic sense to it in the sense of, like, it's a very tempting type of, just go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's sort of, again, like you're trying to anthropomorphize the weather. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like the weather is sort of like, those sirens? Like,
that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah. So
literally, I said, well, and I was going to say the siren. That's so interesting.
Yeah, so it functions. See? You got to go with somebody. You got that connection. Wavelength. Tell the truth. But yeah, like that, like think of, so I just thought it was a really interesting way to talk about the cold. Specifically, I had in my head, what do you call it? What's that place? Mount Everest? Mm-hmm. Where, like, they just leave them. What do you mean, that body? There's, like, a bunch of them up there. A bunch of them up there, and they just leave them up there.
Bruh, I'm sorry, but if I know that there's bodies on the trail and we're just gonna, I don't want to go. I don't have any interest in that. I'm not judging anybody that wants to go and wants to see, but my God, that is so morbid.
I'm 100% judging everybody. Why would you do that when you don't need to?
I just don't get it.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why? I don't see the need for it. But you know.
So then we hit the bridge, and then this is where it talks about the hate thing, and I love this because...
Lost are the days of spring. You sighed and let me in. Keep the beast inside, shackled within my hide. Screaming out too late, losing in my hate. Grew together with your skin and paced the trails of sin.
That
what about
part,
it?
it was just crazy because I think that the song is, personifying winter as hate. And so if you go with that interpretation, and he's saying lost are the days of spring. So... the days of spring would be the opposite of hate. The opposite of hate, would you say, would be love?
I just think that the hate there is how hateful do you have to be to continue to torture somebody after you've beaten them? Because the winter is just completely cruel. Mm-hmm. And he already described winter as cruel and sort of being this unrelenting sort of bad guy. So mm-hmm. I just took it as losing to my hate is... the temperature itself.
Okay, I'm just going to say when I saw this part, because this was the one piece of the lyrics that I pulled out away from all the other song while the song was taking place. And so I thought Lost Are the Days of Spring was like the opposite of hate. So the days of spring would be the time that you had where hate wasn't all consuming to you, because hate does have a way of consuming. Lost are the days of spring, you sighed and let me in. Keep the beast inside, shackled within my hide. So I thought that the beast was like he's trying to shackle hate within himself so it doesn't take him over. And which I think is an interesting concept, because I don't think it's actually possible. I think that hate has to actually be let out, but not let out in the sense of pouring out your hate on other human beings. Like, I think there is a place to get hate out, and I think that that's part of healing. But that there's healthy ways of getting it out, and there's really unhealthy ways of getting it out that actually just like makes hate bigger. And then when he said, losing to my hate, grew together with your skin and paced the trails of sin. So I thought what he was saying here was when he's losing to his hate, that was like the hate that he had shackled inside of himself that was in his hide was actually starting to take him over. And then when he said, grew together with your skin, I thought it was like, it's becoming a part of him. Like, his hate is no longer something that he can keep hidden inside. It's becoming a part of him. And then it paced the trails of sin. So it set the pace for the sin that he was like participating in, or the way that he was destroying other people or destroying himself. It set the pace for it as the hate grew, which I love trails. I have this memory of Vinny and I, we went in the woods, and it was like my perfect time of day. I love when the sun is orange, but not like right before it's going to get dark, like when the sun's about to go down. I don't really like that time. It kind of depresses me because I know I'm about to lose the sun. But when it's before that and it's just like that bright burning orange, and it was exactly like that. The trees, the leaves were perfect. The greenery was like just stretching over into the path, and there was like 2 paths to take, and both of them were just equally wonderful. And Vinny was like, okay, which way do you want to go, left or right? And I really wanted to do both, but you could not walk both paths in that light. You could only pick one. So I picked left, and I go back to that path so many times, and I always want to go right with you. And I stand there and I'm like, Vinny, let's go right. But I don't know what's down that path, so I can never see, like, in my mind that the memory ends, because you can't go right.
Yeah, you have to make something up.
Yeah. But so when I think of paths and trails and the pace that you set, like, there's leisure, there's fast, we've done paths where we've like almost died from exhaustion running so fast.
I messed up my ankle.
Yep,
pretty bad on that.
I'm pretty sure it was that same day, to be honest with you.
I was just trying to do them shoot drills with you. I was like, tap my shoulder, you weirdo. All right, what do you get the song?
I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to go for a 9.8. 9.8.
This is a prog song, and it's a standard. I felt like the song could have been 46 seconds less and it would have done better. I'm going to give it an 8.9. Shout out to all the proggers and all their
Ben
wonderful
gives this one a 10.
progginess. We have another song on the way, dear listener, on the other side of the break.
Yep.
We shall return. Vin and Sori, Ben Bear. By the way, Ben, congratulations. Happy birthday. We'll see you on the other side of the break. It's
Ben,
official
email
now.
me back. I sent you an email.
It's official now. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
All right, the name of this band is Shylmagoghnar.
Shylmagoghnar. Shylmagoghnar.
Yes, the name of the song is The Sea. DJ Ben, it's his birthday, as you know. He's turning 86 today. Just kidding. I have no idea. He says, oh, did we get the timestamp? Ben, he's so funny. He literally starts out each comment.
301:45.
301:45. Hold on. Let me just add that in. Where am I? 301:45.
I don't think Richard Dawkins said he was a Christian. There's a bunch of people saying that he said he was a Christian. He didn't say he was a Christian. I think he said that he sees the value in Christianity on the Western world or something like that. But now Christians are running around saying that this guy actually converted to Christianity. I wish Perkinos was in here, because we would know immediately. All right, go ahead. Talk to the people.
DJ Ben says, the beginning dedication of the official video definitely hit me hard when I first viewed it last year. We're going to watch the official over here, so we'll start out that beginning dedication, and then you guys will be watching the unofficial here so we don't get the stream blocked. He says, although ultimately the band's 2023 album did not live up to my expectations, this song and the other 2 pre-releases singles were too good. We did Follow the River, a single from this album, back in September of 2023, and the man himself, Nim from the band, gave you a shout out in the comments of that stream. Everybody watch official with the nifty new Vin and Sori logo overlay. Oh shit, I didn't know that was supposed to be happening. But those are still getting blocked, right? Those got blocked the last time, even though we did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the official over here and the unofficial for you guys. So yeah, here we go. There's the dedication starting.
All right, Jet. We've been tracking with her.
The mama.
She's gonna text us. She's gonna text us when she's back.
So this is dedicated to the mother. Did you miss that?
Back, just hold on.
Okay.
Okay. So text us when you're back safe, Jet, and don't worry about talking to us when you're outside. Just go from the gas station to your house, and then you can text us when you're home safe.
Get that bike soon.
I know it's not a lot of crime, but we don't want you walking around in fear. We just want you to be home safe. Wise.
Yep.
Be wise, little sis. Don't make me have to fly over there.
This song and video is dedicated to Jose Beatrind Jensen. Rest in peace, Mom, it says. And then it's like starts... It looks like you're looking like the walls of the ocean and there's light coming through the other side of it. It's pretty cool.
How long is that intro?
Well, it's about like 20 seconds. Oh, it looks like an eye. Where the rivers find the ocean. Okay,
You know what?
I think
Stop.
it's starting now. What?
Hold on.
Do you want to just play that beginning?
Well, if it's just the beginning...
I mean...
That sucks. That looks like a really cool video.
Yeah, but we're going to watch it and everybody else can go on YouTube and watch it themselves too, you know? Like, it's not over with. But we don't want to get the stream blocked.
Got it. Okay. It's Josie. Not Jose,
Okay,
it's Josie.
Sorry. Apologies.
I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. Okay. All right, so we've got the video coming up right here, guys. It's Shylmagoghnar. I don't know how to pronounce that band, but
the name of the song is The Sea.
The Sea is the name of the song. We're Vin and Sori. Our DJ is DJ Ben. Let's do it.
Low in the distance, a riddle ascends, where the rivers find the ocean, where all boundaries end. And with every step closer,
Look at this, babe.
one will know what it meant.
It's so crazy.
You guys should watch this video. Wow.
Such a badass video. Damn! Man, that was highway robbery. I wish you guys could have seen that video. I've never seen a video that matches a song so well.
It was beautiful. I also think I got the timing right between that one and this one.
You did. You
That,
did.
that also increases the... Wow, unbelievable.
You did.
Wow, that was beautiful. What an amazing dedication to Mama Dukes.
Yeah, man, like he was it was a lot of nature scenes that were focused mostly around the sea or the ocean.
It was the
or
ocean, the
whatnot.
way that those waves were just coming in and
Yeah, like the connection them folks have to nature is just, it's unbelievable. And it's one of the things that, one of the ways that being in the community has, I don't know, changed my theology, but updated my theology. Like, the earth and nature, I used to look at you like, oh, like, I'll just have all my paganism through Sori because you're such a, nature file. You love nature and all the rest of it, but like, coming into the channel, like seeing you talk to people or seeing Kai's stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's because I don't see those moments where like you guys, you see them. So when Kai takes a picture of it, and then I see that scene like in the midst of like, oh, it's a regular bedroom, but then I'm like, oh, I think to myself like, what was he looking at? What was going on in his head when he took that picture? All that shit. I mean, for something that somebody from the other side of the world. So Kai, he's a big nature guy, and he took a picture of a scene, and then he mailed it to us.
Water, but it's like blues, and it's just
like,
beautiful.
It's blown up, and so we literally like put it up like on top of like on our wall on the bed. So it's like, yeah, but it's kind of like
it's like dark toward the front, but light, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's like when I'm in the middle of nature and things like that, like, I don't know, a lot of it I just can't turn my mind off. But for some reason, like, seeing those pictures, I'm like, okay, that's what you guys are seeing when you're in there. Like, you're seeing, like, this beauty and all the rest of it. Whereas to me, like, when I'm in the middle of it, there's so much of it I can't see it. And so now, like, it's in a bite-sized type of thing, and so now I go, oh, that's what they're seeing. It's kind of like, I think what happens, like, when I look at the Bible. I just open the Bible and I see I go, oh, yeah, it's here, here, and here. Boom, problem solved. Like, and everybody else is like, how did you get that? You know, it's the same thing with me. Like, I go out in the nature, and you're like, oh, it's so beautiful. But I'm always like, how do you guys get there?
Oh, my gosh.
And so, yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, when I'm in nature, I feel, at the risk of sounding like a complete pagan, I guess.
At the risk.
I just feel like I'm a part of it. Like, there's just something about it and something about me that I'm like, there's something the same that's here. And it's the same if I go into the forest, there's like a different part of me that connects. And if I stand by the ocean, another part of me connects. Like every part of nature, like I've never been in a place in nature, with the exception of understanding that something tragic happened right there. I'm done with it then. Right. I don't want any bit of that whatever
energy.
Whatever energy is part of that. I don't want any parts of it. And there are places where I'm like, something doesn't feel right here and I don't like this place.
Yeah.
And I'll leave the place. You know, I'm not trying to vibe with whatever that is. But there's a whole bunch of, most times when I hit nature, I'm like, it's my father builds houses, and so wood was something we were always surrounded with. It was always sawdust. I mean, every day he came home covered in sawdust. So the smell of like wood that's been kiln dried and then used to build and then, you know, cut and made into sawdust, that smell is like, that's the smell of Dad to me. And so whenever I get around wood or that smell, it always reminds me of my father. And so the woods to me is like, in a spiritual, supernatural sense, when I get in the woods, I'm like, this is my father. This is like God the Father. And like what his intentions when he created this. And it says that he holds all things together. So I know that tree is still growing because God is calling it to grow. And that from the beginning of time, he told the plants, like, create seeds and bear more seeds and create more. And so like all of these things that are surrounding me is all still listening to an echo from his voice from the beginning of time. And so I feel like connection with it and with him, and it's such a good place for me.
Yeah, you're a very big fan of nature and things like that. And like I said, like there's something that you guys see that the rest of us don't.
It's not so much a see as it is a feel, but there is a see, but it's a feel too.
Perceptive, you know, third eye, whatever people want to call it. But there's some sort of perceptive connection that some people have with the natural world that other people do not. And I don't know if that's a consequence of technology, disposition, you know, what people are you know, likely to emphasize, etc., etc. I mean, there's a lot of different explanations for it. I just think some people are just gifted with that, like spiritually, like to have the awareness of the actual connection between, you know, us as people in the physical world and the environment that we're all interacting in. Like that's a very.
And that comes really naturally for me. I mean, I don't know like what happens with Kai, but like for me, it's like I actually miss it. Like if I don't go outside enough, like a depression sort of like comes over me. And if I think of like some of the worst case scenarios for me, it would be like locked away from the sun in like a prison, and all it is cement walls. Like that to me is like horrible. Whenever I'd see those situations where like, I think it was like, you know, like, thing must be more severe. Like,
punishment must be more severe.
Wasn't there like a scene where somebody he has to like traverse his way out like the sides of the cave? But like, okay, when I see the scene where he's down in the cave, I feel a little bit less panicked because there's still some sunlight coming down into that hole.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But if it's like one of those situations where the person is like trapped away, there's no sun at all, I'm like,
Okay, so Jet got back home safe. We're all happy about that. Where the streams converge in song, strange patterns of emergent forms undulate a transient line, its vibrant dance, resemblant of the mind, grudges and beliefs, now nothing but a stirring of the sea, futile to hold on to ways which in a blink are already gone. This guy's smart too, because look, future to hold on, which in the blink are already, Gone is the will to drive me from my foolish deeds.
Yep.
So you're
it twice.
The end of but so that guy can write his ass off for show. This was a dedication to his mom. I'm assuming that his mother really enjoyed the ocean. Because if you guys could have seen the video, like everything in that, they were basically underwater the entire time. And they were, the wildlife in the oceans were also emphasized, which is something that I don't see a lot. You don't see a lot of videos, especially metal videos, where it's like wildlife and you're...
In the oceans.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah. So...
No, that's so true.
Yeah. So
it would be like a dark wolf or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, but, also, this lady, obviously it must have been the...
Also, visually, one of the things that I liked about it was that, so it was predominantly hues of blue throughout the entire thing. Obviously, I mean, it's set in the water, it's the ocean, but there was like these little sparks that were like blue, and then they began to change to be like an orange. And so, I don't know, like, there's something about bodies of water that make me feel like sad, also like a bit of loneliness, but then there's also like the grandeur of it, and the like, okay, like however big this whole entire thing is, like God is greater than it. And then I think of Job, where it says God set the boundaries for it, and he said, this far you will go and no further, here's where your proud waves must stop. So I think about all those things when I'm around a body of water, especially the ocean. When I saw the blue again, like, I don't know why, I don't think that it has to do with the Titanic movie, but I do always think of that when I get by the ocean. Like, there's that sort of loneliness, and maybe it's because there's lost love, there's death, there's like, you can't control the ocean, it determines what's going to happen. Like, there's, I don't know, something about all of that, but I always feel like this like sadness when I go by the ocean. But I love it. I love the ocean. Well, when the blues changed into the orange, to me it was like there was the sorrow of the death of his mother, which is in the like the ocean theme and the sort of like whatever. But then like as the orange goes, like that her spirit didn't just die and become nothing, but that it went on to something brighter, something greater. And there was also like at the beginning, you see like the waters looked like they were parting, and at the end there was like a light, and then you kept seeing like this blinking eye, which I don't know, maybe could have been like actual footage of his mom's eye. I have no idea. But it was just, I don't know, it was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
Where the streams converge, where he says,
where the streams converge.
In the distance a riddle ascends. In the distance a riddle ascends. Where the rivers find the ocean, where all the boundaries end. And with every step closer, one will know what it meant. So I think he's talking about his mom's spirit there.
Yeah.
In the distance a riddle ascends, like the riddle is what happens after death, what is a human soul, what is a spirit, all that. That's ascending. Where the rivers find the ocean, where all the boundaries end, because again, the ocean and all that must have been important to his mom. And then he says, with every step closer, one will know what it meant. Because as the closer you go up to the light or whatever the source, whatever people try to, then the closer you get to that being or place, then the more and more life makes sense to you. So it says, with every step closer, one will know what it meant.
Yep.
So that's like the preamble to the song itself.
The other thing too is
that's pretty crazy.
A lot of times people will, if they end up getting cremated, they want to be thrown into the ocean or spread into the ocean. So there might be something there too as well. I don't know. To die is but a step. Let the ocean waters drink all your regrets. Rejoin with all, shattered at birth, now whole again becomes. Return to a time when the cosmos was your mother and your child, and all that you wrought is a dream that when you woke up you forgot.
Yeah, that's an interesting line about the cosmos being your mother and your child. That has a lot of implications. Because it's not saying consider the cosmos your mother and you her child. What it's saying is there's some sense in which the cosmos is your mother, as in gave birth to you. And there's another sense in which the cosmos is your child, something that you're directly responsible for. That's a deep line.
Yeah, it is.
That's a very, very deep line. Man, this kind of flew by. I mean, it's been 3.5 hours. It's thing
that was
really, really flew by. I
enjoyed this song.
I don't see a lot of official videos, so this is probably not fair to the other bands.
I know. I was thinking I probably should start playing more.
But this is kind of like, aesthetically speaking, like the video of the year. It was like really aesthetically pleasing to look at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I don't feel like that would have cost a lot of money to do.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
So that actually like gives me some hope as far as like ours. Like, if we could find a good, simple idea and just run with it, because they basically superimpose the band under the water in the ocean scene, like, that has a lot of implications. We can do a lot of shit with that.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you get the song?
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to give it a 9.8. I understand it had an unfair advantage because there was a video there and the video was beautiful, but I'm still going to give it a 9.8.
I have a 9.9 in my head, and I'm going to stick with that.
It bees like that sometime, dear listener.
Yep.
It bees like that sometime.
Well, I mean, we still have one remaining song, right? It's Ben's birthday.
That's right. We have one remaining song, you losers.
Happy birthday to you.
Dum da da dum.
Happy birthday to you.
Dum da da dum.
Happy birthday, dear Benji.
Happy birthday to you. There's Ghosty.
All right, you guys. Thanks for coming through and making Ben's birthday beatdown even more special.
Ben's birthday beatdown.
I mean, it wouldn't have been as great if we didn't have all you commenters.
It really wouldn't have been.
So thanks for coming through, you
and
guys.
We were singing in E major. Ian Kirby wants you to know.
Off key, though.
Off key. Thank you for the appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you for the judgment.
So if you guys don't forget that on Patreon, there's a post up that lets you know when the upcoming streams are. I put that public so anybody can access it. So that's going to give you all the streams that are currently on the docket for April. And that list does get updated as more streams get put in. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're in discussions about a movie watch along coming up soon, so maybe you guys might be interested in that.
I'm telling you, we're the greatest of all time. You guys are going to want to be
Ben gives
there.
us a thunderous applause.
Thunderous applause.
Thank you.
I have never abandoned a stream. That is quite correct, Middle.
Yep.
You've been a faithful friend.
All right, you guys.
All right, guys.
Thanks for coming through. We'll see you guys next week.
Vin out.